Time for baseball on a Monday evening in Hyannis, Massachusetts. It's another matchup in the Western Division between the Falmouth Commodores and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks here from McKeon Park. Matt Venezia, Zach Surdenik, and Destiny Sanchez, among others, bringing it to you tonight on the Commodores Radio Network. It's a second matchup of 6 between these two divisional foes. The Doors falling in the previous and first matchup of the season here at McKeon Park just a few days back. It was a rain delay turned into a postponement, but after the game was reaching past the 5th inning, it was 6-5 Hyannis, and because that counts as a complete game, Zach, the game was called. The Harbor Hawks got the win 6-5. We hope to get 9 today, and more importantly, the Commodores want to bounce back.
Yeah, just trying to find their way through, especially after a game like last night where they felt like they could have beaten YD out at Red Wilson Field, but unable to get it done. They got the tie. They're tied with Hyannis right now in the middle of that East Division standings, so trying to pick up a game on their East Division rivals and get back even in the season series.
Absolutely, and right now you say that. Hyannis 3-4 on the year. That's 6 points in the Western Division. Falmouth right behind them, tied for the same point total, but 2-3-2. So Hyannis, because they've actually won one more game than Falmouth, does get the tiebreaker, but we still have 36-something odd games to go.
Yeah, a lot of games. Playoff discussions at this point are very, very early. But the other thing that Falmouth has struggled with is the first tiebreaker after head-to-head is runs allowed. And in 2 of the losses for Falmouth, it's been 14 and 11 runs allowed. That's not going to help your tiebreaker.
Not at all. And the Commodores, still to this point in the year, have only won away from the Gov.
Yes.
Yesterday, after falling behind 3-0, came back, even took the lead in extras, ended in a tie. So the Commodores did improve statistically in the standings category. But again, are still looking for a victory at the Gov. We'll have a chance tomorrow when the Commodores host Orleans and then Wareham. So back-to-back at home. We have a little stretch here of away games. And after those 2 home games, the road trip will continue with 3. But we have a matchup here with Hyannis. We'll let you know who's on the mound. It's Mason Nichols for the Harbor Hawks.
Yeah, Mason Nichols out of Ole Miss. He was pretty solid for the Rebels this year in what was a down year for Ole Miss. Fastball, slider, changeup. He likes the slider. He was a Team USA Collegiate National Team invite to training camp last year and put on a pretty decent showing there. That fastball is in the low 90s, can get up to 95, and he really likes that slider, as I mentioned.
So with the first pitch getting underway out of the wind, 2 minutes past this top of the hour, 6:02 is the first pitch, missing for a ball up and away to John Spikerman. We will tell you the rest of the order for Falmouth in just a second. With Spikerman, the switch hitter out of Oklahoma, stepping in. Out of the wind, the pitch from Nichols. That one's in there for a strike, gave him the heater and back-to-back. 1-1 count.
Love Spikerman at the top of the order here. He's got so much speed. Had the bunt single yesterday. He can definitely lay one down and can really get it done anywhere in the order, but love him at the top.
1 for 4 yesterday in his debut with the Commodores. Another heater here, and this one is fouled straight back to the screen.
We've yet to see him bat from the right side so far, as all of his at-bats as a Commodore have come against right-handed pitchers, so staying on that left side.
Looking for the sign from Austin Kelly behind the plate, the former Commodore now with Hyannis as a backstop. Fastball up at the head level of Spikerman. He had to lean out of the way. And that'll even up the count at 2. But it's good to see Austin getting picked up by another Cape team before making his way back down south out of the Cape in just a matter of days. The 2-2 on the way, breaking ball in the outer half. No call being made. A nice take there by Spikerman. The Commodores looking to get his wheels aboard here in the top half of the first.
And that's the pitch that he took for strike 3 twice yesterday, right on that outside part, but that one just a little bit out.
A good eye this time around. The break even, this one is popped up in foul territory, left of the third base bag, giving chase and running after it is Smith. And this one will leave the playing surface foul, so we'll get another one for Spikerman.
Yeah, Cameron Smith split a little bit outfield so far this summer and made an appearance in the outfield in the last meeting between these two, but over at third base today and tried to run that one down, just couldn't get to it.
Excuse the voice crack here. We're apparently...
I wasn't going to acknowledge it. I was just going to let it be, Matt.
Hopefully that's the first and only. The 3-2. This one, again, is sent foul. Nice battle here by Spikerman. He'll step out of the box, readjust himself, and step back in. Nice way to begin the ball game, getting a good feel for all of what Nichols has to offer, and you know his arsenal.
Yeah, I mentioned it a minute ago, but that fastball slider change is really strong from him, and he goes to that slider a lot and put away spots.
Here it is. That's a fastball upstairs. A great at-bat by Spikerman. He's going to reach with a base on balls. That was a fastball up and away. We'll give you a chance to see the rest of the order from Falmouth. Kyle DeBarge coming up to bat now. He's the shortstop. Condon at first. He's still in the same three-hole for the Commodores. Jace Lavalette DHing. He's been in left field to begin his time. He's down there in the cleanup. High fill behind the plate. Colby Shelton, the man out of Alabama, making his season debut at the hot corner at third. Nate Humphreys in right. Christian Martin out of Virginia Tech back at second base. And Tab Tracy rounds out the order for Jeff Trundy and the Commodores here on this Monday night against Hyannis. Now from the stretch. First pitch going is Spikerman. Look at those wheels. He's going to slide in as the throw goes into center field and away from Kelly. Spikerman standing. He could have, but he does slide late. He's in there to third.
Yeah, I was going to say after you finish the lineup that Spikerman has a lead speed, but Austin Kelly, as we saw in the Commodores uniform, has a really good arm. It was strength on strength, and Spikerman wins, and then that throw that bounced into center allowed him to get all the way up to third. Good start here for Falmouth.
Well, we're going to take a look and see how they decide to rule this in terms of if that was a throwing error or not. I don't believe it will be. This one, meanwhile, by DeBarge has popped up on the infield. Making the play over at first base is Alex Lane. Not the way you wanted DeBarge there to put that one in play, but the first out of the inning picked up by Hyannis.
Yeah, and it should be ruled a stolen base and a throwing error that allowed him to move to third would be the assumption, but definitely not what you want with a runner on third and nobody out. But now Charlie Condon and Jace Lavalette coming up, trying to get one in the air and at the very least bring the runner in.
A big spot for the Doors. We mentioned their success scoring runs on the road and finding ways to win. Condon first pitch swinging, lines out to the shortstop, Eric Snow. A great play moving to his left, and suddenly, within the matter of pitches, there's two outs trying to bring in Spikerman, who stands on third.
Yeah, two quick outs on the last two pitches that not what you want, but still a chance for Lavalette here to come through and help get the Doors on the board first.
So it is Lavalette. Had a two-run single yesterday in the tie against YDU. Got the Doors to within one run, trailing 3-2 in the fourth inning. The first pitch from Nichols. He'll take it off the plate. A fastball missing to Lavalette.
Not a super deep backstop here, but with Spikerman's speed, you got to think anything that gets away from Austin Kelly is going to bring that run across.
Out of the stretch, the pitch at the left kick, and this one is in the same spot, a fastball off the plate. A nice take there by Lavalette. He's ahead of it now, 2-0. And they do rule it a throwing error by Austin Kelly as we get the update from our live scoring opportunity here through Point Streak. Nichols from the stretch lifts the leg, fires a breaking ball, misses up and away, and it's 3-0 to the designated hitter for Falmouth.
With first base open, I'm not piping one to Lavalette here, especially at this short ballpark with a little bit of wind. If he gets one up in the air, it's probably not coming back.
It's Ross Highfill on deck, a right-on-right matchup awaits. Fastball here on the 3-0 in there after an aggressive call behind the plate for the strike. The home plate umpire. It's 3-1 now. Lavalette saw the fastball there and now can figure out the timing should he decide to swing on this one. Nichols a long look to Spikerman at third, and now he decides to go. It's a fastball inside, getting the call. And now from 3-0, back-to-back fastballs, and this count is evened up. And full, 3-2.
This is the crux of the inning here on this 3-2, and it has potential to be defining of how this inning started with a runner on third early.
The full count offering. Fastball, swing and a miss. Lavalette ahead 3-0, and it's Nichols who comes back and battles to strand Spikerman at third. A nice start to the inning results in a 0 for the Commodores offensively. It will be Carson Dorsey coming up on the hill on the other side of the break here on the Commodores Radio Network. Carson Dorsey takes the hill, the southpaw, in his second start for the Commodores this summer. Destiny Sanchez joins us to give us a little bit more about the lefty for the Doors today. Destiny.
Thanks, Matt. A little bit of who is starting on the mound for Falmouth. Carson Dorsey out of Florida State had 14 appearances, 7 wins, and only 1 loss with a 2.43 ERA and 99 strikeouts. Some great numbers to come into the Cape. This is his second starting appearance for the Commodores. The first time we saw Dorsey was at Hartwich. He had 4 innings pitched and ended up with a 2.25 ERA that game. And Dorsey is typically a starter at Florida and Gulf Coast State, so this is a familiar ground for him.
Well said. It'll be good to see what he has. I mean, you talked about the Harwich game, and that was Falmouth's first win on the season, getting Dorsey to provide some length in that game earlier on in the ball game, and that was the day we saw Casey Hunt earn the save for the Commodores in the 2-1 victory, and almost we learned a lot about the arms, and now we've kind of gotten adjusted to in the roles that they've been filling out since.
Yeah, and especially on the road, the arms have been outstanding. A 2.45 ERA in 4 games on the road for this Falmouth team. They've really pitched it well.
So the lineup as Bradkey Lowry steps in. He'll lead it off at second base. Billy Amick designated hitting right behind him. Gavin Cash will bat third. Alex Lane, we saw him make a play over at first. He is in the cleanup role. Will Taylor straightaway center field. Cam Smith from Florida State at third. Eric Snow, the shortstop, just fielded a line drive. Austin Kelly, the former Commodore, behind the plate in the 8-hole. And Zach Earhart out and right, taking on Carson Dorsey. A lot of right-handed bats against the southpaw from Falmouth, and the first pitch showing a bunt. Pulled it back, but was still given the call. And 0-1 now out of the full wind for Carson. It's a fastball low. A good take there in the box by Lowry. 1-1.
Dorsey starting off with the heater. He goes fastball slider change, but really can use that heater to get ahead in counts.
Out of the full wind once again, the breaking ball drops right in there, chest high for the catcher, Ross Highfill. Was not used yesterday. It was a good chance to see Walker Yannick make his debut behind the plate. Ross is also designated hit himself in the earlier part of still this very young season. The 0-2 swing and a miss. Quick work done right there. And a nice start to the ball game for Dorsey on the mound as Lowry sent back to the dugout.
Yeah, you love to start things off with a strikeout, and now an extremely dangerous hitter coming up in Billy Amick, one of the best hitters on the Cape so far this summer. Had a multi-home run game already on the year, had a double against Falmouth the last time these two teams met. He can swing it.
Dorsey right back to work, gets a cut and miss on a fastball low and away to the righty. Nice good effort there done by Dorsey again out of Gulf Coast State College, getting ready to transfer to the ACC in Florida State this year. The 0-1 here fouled right off of Billy Amick. He now will take a second to gather himself after that.
And he's facing a guy who's looking to transfer potentially out of the ACC, and Billy Amick. He's been outstanding so far this summer, as we mentioned. Had a really good year at Clemson, but entered the portal just a little bit ago.
Yeah, Amick, you weren't kidding about the numbers. 583 on the average, already 7 hits to this point in the young Cape season. The pitch on the way, fastball up, got him to pop it up. Now the play will be made out in right center field, and it's going to be Christian Martin running that one down. Looked like Charlie Condon was giving that one chase as well, but it's a second baseman calling him off. And a nice start, an infield pop-up, 2 gone.
That's a tough angle. Little bit of your Bermuda Triangle action in that corner, just kind of trying to run that one down. And good job by Christian Martin to call it off, take charge, and make the play.
Gavin Cash now steps in, and there's a whole scouting report on this guy. He is quite the bat, who we did not see in the first matchup against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, but he's now in there. The left-hand southpaw bat swings and misses. The count's evened up at 1.
He's got such a pretty home run swing, but you wonder here this summer and with a lefty-lefty matchup where that's going to be with the way he stands. It's such a longer swing.
Swing and a miss on this one. You mentioned the long swing. That looked like slow motion there on that cut. Drove in 84 runs this year.
Yeah, so his swing's pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong.
He's very capable.
Yes, Gavin Cash can swing it.
Dorsey ahead once again. The 1-2 goes with a changeup here, and it's cut and foul straight over our heads. Here at McKeon Park, second time that our broadcast crew has been out here to bring you a broadcast here on the radio. Nice crowd gathered here. It's just a quarter past the top of the hour. The 1-2 from Dorsey, swing and a miss. Gave him a slider low and into the southpaw, and a nice start for Dorsey, who got 2 swinging strikeouts in this bottom half of the first. We'll go back to the Commodore bats on the other side of the break here on the Commodores Radio Network. Ready for the top half of the second. The Commodores will have Ross Highfill leading it off. I want to tell you about the defense of the home team here at McKeon Park. It's Cash out and left, Taylor straightaway center field, Earhart in right. A very different outfield than when we were here last time. Smith is at the hot corner, Eric Snow at short, Bradkey Lowry at second base, and Alex Lane at first. The guy calling and catching the balls in strikes, Austin Kelly. And right on the mound, Mason Nichols, as we introduced you to him last inning.
Yeah, and this is his first start of the summer. He didn't start at all at Mississippi in either of the last 2 years, so it's a different role for him here. We'll see how long they let him go.
So now Ross Highfill will get his first appearance today for the Falmouth Commodores. Has one of the 2 home run balls that we've gotten to see from the Doors to this point in the year. It was back in the tie against Bourne. It was a 2-run shot that gave Falmouth a 2-1 lead. That game ended up being 3-3 the final. Nichols, the offering here, fastball a little bit low to Ross. Believe the count is 2-0. The scoreboard a little bit behind in that category, but we'll do our best here to update it with what we think. Here is a fastball sent foul. Nice pitch there. Good cut there by Ross Highfill. Highfill, freshman year at Mississippi State, getting some valuable time here in the Cape League. Expected to be here all summer long. Now splitting the duties with Walker Yannick behind the plate. The 2-1. Breaking ball. Did he hold his swing? Yes, he did. Looked pretty 50-50 from here, guys.
Yeah, it was close.
That makes it a 3-1 count now. Got a fastball when it was a hitter's count in the 2-0. Well, now it's 3-1. Nearly got an offering there on the breaking stuff. We'll see what Nichols goes to here out of the full wind. The pitch. Fastball up at the letters, stays up, and it's another walk. Back-to-back innings where the Doors have a leadoff walk against Mason Nichols.
And that's how you want to start things. Base runners, base runners, base runners. Can't get runs across if you can't get on base. This should be a fun at-bat, though. I'm excited to see Colby Shelton.
We have been anticipating this at-bat right here. Colby Shelton joining the Commodores yesterday, was not used in the tie at YD. His numbers speak for themselves after a very impressive freshman year at Alabama down in Tuscaloosa. He is over at third base today for the Doors. He was a freshman All-American. Hit 25 home runs. That was good for the top with Charlie Condon for freshman rookies in the home run category out of the SEC.
Not just this season, all time.
Fastball way upstairs. Austin Kelly had to jump out of the crouch to receive that one. And again, back-to-back counts where it's a 2-0 advantage to the hitter. And that allowed Highfill to end up reaching on the free pass. Now you get a chance for Colby Shelton in his first at-bat with the Doors this summer. From the stretch, Nichols a couple looks up and down, and now he lifts the leg and goes. Fastball cut on and missed by Shelton. tried to add another home run to his lengthy total there with that swing. Was a 300 hitter, slugged over 700 this year for Alabama. He was 8th in the SEC in that category as well. A couple looks up and down from Nichols again, and now he decides to go. It's another fastball up high. This one's sent slicing foul into the bleachers beyond the third base dugout of Hyannis today. And from 2-0 again, give credit where it's due, battling back is Mason Nichols.
And this is not the first time Shelton's seen Nichols this season. Nichols got Shelton to record the final out in a 5-1 Alabama win earlier in the season. So Shelton trying to get even.
Let's see who can win this battle. 2-2 from Nichols, holding there long, and now he decides to go. It's a fastball that he put in the dirt. Kelly blocking that one down, and it is a 3-2 count once again. Already some early trouble in terms of getting the pitch count up for Nichols. He certainly had to work a little bit here. Showing a lot of his pitches here early on in this ballgame through the first part of the order. Nichols from the stretch. A long pause, and now he goes. It's a fastball sent back to the screen. A nice cut there by Colby Shelton. Waiting on deck is Nate Humphreys, should he get an opportunity.
And it's another good battle here because you had the 8-pitch walk worked by John Spikerman back in the first. Highfill works the walk here to start the second. Shelton battling here. This will be pitch number 7 of this at-bat. Driving up that pitch count, seeing a lot of pitches, giving yourself a better chance of getting a mistake pitch that you can hammer.
This will be pitch number 29 already. Full count pitch, and this one's popped up just beyond the infield. Giving chase at third is Smith, and in very short left field, he will make the catch. That is the first out of the inning for the Commodores here in the top of the second.
You see a lot of those pop-ups here in summer ball, especially early in the season as guys are getting acclimated to the wooden bats. There's less margin for error, and so a ball that is a decently deep fly ball in college turns into one of those pop-ups because you just miss it. The sweet spot's a little smaller.
Nate Humphreys steps in there now in this left-handed batter's box out of Dallas Baptist. This is his second game as a Commodore. A pickoff back to Highfill. He's in there diving back to get in there.
He was leaning. He was ready to go.
We've seen Ross go before. Got to wonder if that's the sign over there in the third base coach's box. Nichols a look back to Ross before coming set out of the stretch. Now keeping tabs on him. Still holding on the mound. And now a look back to Ross. This one had Lane jumping to receive it. So the catcher for Falmouth definitely in between the ears right now of Nichols there on the mound. For the guy in the box.
That's where you want to be.
Absolutely. Makes it easy, I think, for Humphreys, too, knowing that the guy on the mound is not in his, not dialed in entirely on the at-bat. But he does fire in a fastball there to get ahead, 0-1. Nate Humphreys spent some time in the Stillwater Regional with DBU. An 18-4 win in Game 2 of that set against Oklahoma State saw him go 2 for 5 with a bomb and 2 RBIs. So a lot of these guys that are getting in here not late, but later in the beginning part of this season, coming in from regional and even super regional experience. And that adjustment period that you mentioned with the bats is certainly something that we've noticed firsthand.
And he had a massive year this year at Dallas Baptist, too. I mean, 352, 14 bombs, 15 doubles.
The 0-2 from Nichols. Highfill is going. It's a fastball up. Kelly trying to do some catcher-on-catcher crime against his former teammate, and Ross gets in there ahead of the throw. Got a really good jump. Was in there safely.
Yeah, I mean, a high fastball to a very good defensive catcher in Austin Kelly, and Ross Highfill beats it out. He leads this team in stolen bags. He's already got 3 of them on the summer.
That's a number you don't typically see the backstops lead in, but that's exactly what it is. We mentioned Ross, one of 2 players on the roster with a home run at this point in the year, right up there in the RBIs as well. Fastball cut on and missed from Humphreys. He's going to go down swinging. It's a second strikeout of the afternoon for Mason Nichols, and with 2 gone now, it'll come down to Christian Martin trying to bring in Ross Highfill.
And we saw the Doors unable to come through in the first inning with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs, something they've struggled with all season long, hitting just .230 with 2 away and runners in scoring position, and that can be a big spot where you're trying to add to innings and add to leads.
First pitch swinging is Martin. This will back up the left fielder who still looks and makes the play. That's Cash out there, backpedaling to receive it on the first pitch. Another stranded runner for Falmouth. That's 2 already through 2 innings. Another 0 up on the board. The offense for both teams trying to get going here as we go to the bottom of the second here on the Commodores Radio Network. Getting ready for the bottom of the second inning. We'll send it to Destiny Sanchez for an announcement.
Thanks, Matt. Cape Cod Healthcare is proud to be the official healthcare sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. When you need to be seen quickly for minor illness or injury, Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care offers a convenient and cost-effective treatment option with 6 locations across Cape Cod from Falmouth to Orleans. Open daily with no appointment needed and staffed by board-certified ER providers. View wait times at capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention.
Thank you, Destiny. For those on Cape Cod with us, very important information there. And now we get ready for the bottom of the second inning. Carson Dorsey looked very, very good in that top half, going 3 up, 3 down with 2 swinging strikeouts. He'll get the heart of the order. Alex Lane, Will Taylor, and Cameron Smith due up here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, real good chance to keep things going for Dorsey on the mound and keep his strong start to the summer here with the doors going. And this is a good order here. Lane, Taylor, and Smith, all 3 hit from the right side. This is going to be a tough matchup.
Out of Northeastern is Alex Lane. 70 hits on the year for him. Drove in 57 for the Huskies. Good hockey school over there with Northeastern.
Yeah, out of the Colonial in baseball, but getting it done on the ice as well.
Up ahead. 1-0 here to Dorsey, firing another one in there. That's a fastball. Good called strike behind the plate. We saw Lane in the previous matchup that these two teams had not too long ago. And in the limited action, he was 2 for 3 through the game's 5 innings for Hyannis. Obviously, the game was called in the top of the 6th inning, so the Harbor Hawks did not get their 6th set of at-bats.
Yeah, I mean, it was 19 hits and 11 runs between the two sides through 5 innings.
We were certainly set for a good bout the rest of the way. This is a breaking ball that gets away from Highfill. 3-1 count now to Lane.
It was certainly a lot of offense, that's for sure.
A lot of doubles in that game. A lot of doubles. No home runs, despite the short fence that you and I remember we're talking about a ton in that broadcast. 3 balls and a strike now. It's a fastball, never had a chance. Lane's going to work on with a free pass to begin. And the first base runner allowed for Carson Dorsey and the Commodores defensively. Now Will Taylor will get a shot with a base runner aboard.
And this is the one thing that Dorsey struggled with in his outing at Harwich. He had 5 free passes allowed, and so trying to dial it in, limit the damage, see if you can get a ground ball here against Will Taylor, who has really good speed. So he's tough to double up, but if you can get a good one, it'll be a nice spot.
So Dorsey coming set. He does fire back to second. Or check that, excuse me, that's first. You know, with the lefties there, when they do their pickoff move, you got to watch them, though. They're facing you at first base.
Yeah, and he may have had a chance to make that close had he not hit Lane in the leg on the throw.
Right. Extending his lead pretty nicely there in the primary. He does fire home, though, does Dorsey. It's a fastball out. And Highfill, as he received that one, staring down Alex Lane a bit, still at first base.
Well, and for all the success that Highfield's had at the plate to start this season for the Doors, he has struggled a little bit throwing runners out. We'll see if Hyannis is aggressive here against him tonight.
Dorsey thought about it. That's a check swing in the box. It actually goes foul. So it's a picked up strike there. As Will Taylor talking to himself a little bit after letting that one happen.
Yeah, you never like that as a hitter, because if you're going to swing, you want to swing, because that's the best case scenario if you make contact on a check swing. But that ball can go in play and turn into 1 or 2 quick outs.
Dorsey comes set. Couple looks back to Alex Lane. Now he fires to home, and that one, a fastball up and away. A good call there. Nice frame job, too, by Highfill. I don't think Will Taylor was too fond of that call.
I bent the knees a little bit and got the statement that was right on the outer edge, and now we'll dig back in. Big spot for Dorsey.
Dorsey coming set up there. Big spot here to pick up the first out of the inning. Lifts the leg and goes. This one's lined out to left. That one's going to get down. It's going to be extra bases for Will Taylor. Approaching the wall is Tab Tracy. He's going to try to hit the cut here. It's a shortstop, Kyle DeBarge. Everyone moves up 180 feet. And it's third and second quickly against Carson Dorsey with still nobody out.
Hey, Matt, I think you mentioned doubles. There's a double. Many of them.
There is a double, no doubt about it.
They were all almost hit down the line in that last game, too. Harrison Povey had one. Michael Eze had one. Ben Williamson went the other way down the line. Billy Amick had a double. I mean, it was pretty much always right in that left field line or right field line.
And your buddy Ben Williamson had a lot out to right center almost, too.
He had two doubles in that game. He's not in the lineup today, but he has been killing it for Hyannis.
So now it's Cam Smith out of Florida State. Takes a fastball in there for a strike. As Dorsey now gets ahead of it quickly, got to contend with the base runners here. Everyone in normal depth, so assuming there's a ground ball in the infield, the Doors are okay with giving up one to get an out.
At this point in the game, you have to be.
Sure. The 0-1 from Dorsey is a breaking ball, trying to catch the upstairs part of the zone, leaving it there with Smith. ACC All-Freshman Team winner. He was a National Player of the Week as well. Had himself a really good rookie year up there in Tallahassee. The 1-1 from Dorsey. Breaking ball, got a big swing and a miss. Really nice pitch there from Dorsey, and he's ahead 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for a better pitch than that in that spot. Going to the back foot slider to the righty and just getting a big cut on it.
If anything, Christian Martin kind of favoring the left side of the infield. He's a couple steps off of the second base bag. Another slider swing and a miss. Dorsey picks up his third strikeout of the early part of this ball game, and more importantly, a big first out of this second inning by the Commodores. Southpaw on the mound, one away.
It's a big out, number one. Long way to go to get out of this inning, but gets things started in the right way.
Defense remains identical. Maybe just a few steps to his left now is Christian Martin, but still pretty tight to the second base bag. Eric Snow, the shortstop, steps in now for Hyannis. First pitch here, a fastball off the plate.
Yeah, just couldn't catch that corner there.
Dorsey looking for the sign by Ross Highfill, and now he comes set. Lifts the leg and fires one. Breaking ball upstairs part of the zone. That one's going to get it as well. So 1-1 count now with one away.
Yeah, that spot wasn't that far from the pitch before it, but just a touch closer to the plate, and that's all he needed.
Exclusively out of the stretch here because of the early base runners in this inning. Trying to hit that same spot once again, kind of up and away, and this time it's left out there for a ball.
Yeah, he wants that pitch there. Lane doesn't run too well at third. He's solid for his size, but not the quickest runner. If you get a ground ball to the right side, especially to Charlie Condon at first base, you may be able to hold that runner at third.
Dorsey comes set. Behind the count, 2-1. Breaking ball chopped right back to Dorsey. He's going to look back Lane at third, and that's a great job to get the second out. He had to leap a little bit to get there. Walked him back and makes the play at first. That's a 1-3 put out, 2 away.
And that's exactly what you're looking for now. And it sets up an interesting matchup for Commodores fans here in a pretty big spot early in this game, and the first time Austin Kelly comes to the plate.
It is Austin Kelly, the catcher from Lipscomb, and no, this is not a Commodore in the box. He is, after being released from the team, was able to sign on with the Harbor Hawks. Played his first game with Hyannis yesterday, and he's back in there today against his former mates. Him and Ross Highfill were pretty close in this earlier part of the season. Was able to talk to the both of them about the bond that they have, given that Highfill being just finishing his freshman year, and meanwhile you have a guy like Kelly who, you know, is up in his upperclassman years.
Yeah, and you've seen, if you're Kelly, you've seen Dorsey in the bullpen at the very least already.
He takes a fastball on the inside here. I believe the count is 2-0. Again, we're still dealing with some scoreboard malfunctions from the in-house people here, not on our end here on the broadcast. Laura's doing a great job, just having to read what the big board's showing, and it's been behind in several instances, but nonetheless behind in the count 2-0 to the former Commodore. Dorsey lifts the leg and fires a breaking ball in there for a strike. Right back over the heart of the plate, and Austin Kelly knows better from a guy that he caught actually in the in bullpens and getting ready for the season. The game that Dorsey threw against Harwich, it was Highfill behind the plate, but still knows what he likes to throw. The 2-1 is an identical breaking ball starting inside and back over the middle. From 2-0, it's 2-2.
Want to come through here, got to finish if you're Dorsey.
He's got a big spot here after the leadoff walk and then the double by Will Taylor. Sends in a swinging strikeout and a dribbler right back to Dorsey. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away. Breaking ball, this one's chopped and foul along the first base line, out of the reach of Charlie Condon. And we will do the 2-2 once again. Kelly battling in the box here. Took the first 2 for balls. Took the following 2 for strikes. The first time we saw him swing the barrel. And now we'll do it again. 2-2. Breaking ball. Sent straight back and foul.
That's 4 straight of that slider from Dorsey. So we'll see if he goes back to it here or if he tries to mix something up. Kelly's thinking about it in the box, trying to figure out where he's going to go next and what Ross Highfill is going to call.
It's funny. Kelly and Highfill look to be having a conversation there about maybe that same thing you just brought up, partner. What could they be going to here? Who will win the battle here? 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. There are 2 on. The pitch is a fastball, and it's sent straight back to the screen. Austin Kelly stays battling in there. He only worked 4 walks this season at Lipscomb. So still a couple of balls away from getting that, but he is certainly battling back into this count. Trying to stay alive there and work his magic here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and again 2 away. The payoff pitch on the way. It's another fastball sent straight back.
What an AB. Works by Austin Kelly. And these are those momentum points that we talk about. They swing ball games, long ABs in big situations. The team that wins more of these crux points in the games, more often than not, wins the ball game.
A long look for the sign by Dorsey, and now he comes sent from the stretch. A left-on-left battle. The pitch on the way is a breaking ball. Kelly lines this one foul along the right field line, just out ahead of that breaking pitch. Sends it into the trees just right of the right field foul pole.
He was on that one and just a little out in front of it. This will be the 10th pitch of the at-bat between these two, and it's still only a 2-2 count. Austin Kelly just continuing to get a piece of and swat away these pitches from Dorsey.
The first real threat from Hyannis to this point in the game. Can Dorsey escape the jam? The pitch on the way, and this one got a piece of Kelly. Looked like it caught him up by the barrel of the bat, where his hands are holding the baseball bat. He looks to be okay and shrugs it off. The bases are loaded for Zach Earhart.
And that is not the result you wanted in that at-bat. But it's also not the worst result either, because it loads up the bases. There's a force anywhere. There's still 2 outs, but a very dangerous bat in Zach Earhart coming up.
It's only bad for Austin Kelly because he's the one that got hit,
yes.
But it doesn't hurt as bad because now he's aboard. So Earhart will step in now. The bases are fully loaded for Dorsey, who's trying to work out of this trouble that he has nearly escaped. On several instances, had a strike to get out of the jam, but Kelly stayed alive up there, and now he's on first base because of the hit by pitch. Dorsey stepped off the mound there and walked around a little bit as he now trails in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. A long inning here, still with no damage yet. The pitch on the way is a breaking ball right in there for a strike, starting off the plate and back into the right-handed batter's box. Earhart took it the entire way.
It was a really good freshman season for Zach Earhart at Oklahoma State. His sophomore year, though, a little bit of a slump for him. Just a 239 average. The strikeouts above those walks numbers. We'll see if he can settle things back down this summer.
The pitch on the way, same pitch. Got him to kind of go after it, did Earhart. And Carson Dorsey, back-to-back sliders. Now ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Earhart's frustrated with himself in the box there. A couple of big, deep breaths after taking that pitch. He wanted to send that one a long way and just couldn't pull the trigger.
Well, now Dorsey can go to really anything he likes here, but it has been pretty exclusively the fastball and the slider. The pitch on the way is a fastball away. Highfield had to jump out of the box to get that one. It's 2-2.
Really nice job to keep that one from getting to the backstop. There is batting there, but where that pitch was going is towards the corner of the backstop. That ball could have taken a bounce in any direction, and more likely than not would have put Hyannis on the board.
Big spot here. Only drove in 13 runs this previous season, but a chance to bring in a good chunk here. It's a pitch in the dirt, a nice block there on the slider by Highfield, and now in a full count, there's nowhere else to put him. Got to find the out here. A ground ball anywhere, a pop fly to the fielders, or maybe doing it himself. We've already seen a couple of strikeouts, 3 through this first part of the order from Dorsey. Can he find the pitch here with the Hyannis faithful getting loud here in the bottom of the second? The 3-2 pitch with 2 away. Dorsey lifts the leg and fires, and this one is dribbled foul. A good battle as this one's sent towards the Commodores dugout. The 8-9 guys really making Dorsey work here after he kind of got into a groove, striking out Smith and then the dribbler back from Eric Snow.
Yeah, that at-bat worked by Austin Kelly was a really good one. And now Earhart working here. You got to continue to fire strikes here if you're Carson Dorsey.
Dorsey's certainly getting a workout right now in front of several major league scouts. 3-2 with 2 away. They're fully loaded. The pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Dorsey wins the battle, and the Commodores put up a 0 defensively. A big spot in this game goes the way of the Doors. Falmouth Bats coming up on the other side of the break. It's still scoreless here on the Commodores Radio Network. Carson Dorsey does his best escape artist impression there, escaping a jam of 3 runners left aboard. It was 3rd and 2nd, nobody out, and the southpaw for Falmouth comes out of that inning without giving up anything. There is activity in the Commodores bullpen. It looks to be Braden Davis getting loose for the Doors, so we could see him as early as this bottom half of the 3rd inning. Tab Tracy will lead it off. I spent time in center field, but now with this incoming package of new players, most of them being outfielders, Tab is now in left. The first pitch from Mason Nichols in the dirt as Tab showed a bunt and pulled it back for a ball.
Well, with the speed of John Spikerman, who's on deck in center field, you don't want him anywhere else but center field. He might be the fastest guy on the Cape this summer.
I think you're very, very accurate with that statement. We already saw it yesterday in YD. Pitch on the way. He does lay down a bunt down the third base line, and just at the last second, dribbling and slicing with that right to left spin on the baseball there. Foul.
I just couldn't keep it fair down that line. He's used that before. He's got the speed, and if teams are going to play a little off the line against him from the left side, he's going to try and take advantage.
That is Cam Smith over there, who's now little bit more in on the grass. Not exactly hugging third base because of the probability of Tracy being able to swing the barrel here, swing the bat. But we'll see what he decides to do. A ball and a strike from Nichols, who's out there for his third inning of work. Out of the full wind, Nichols and the pitch. Change up, spiked. Nice block there behind the plate by Austin Kelly. Kelly looks to be okay after taking that hit by pitch in on his hands. Couldn't quite tell which hand or finger, or maybe it was a mix of that and the knob of the bat got hit by the baseball. That one fastball in at the knees for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the 9-man in the order for Falmouth with, as you mentioned, John Spikerman due up. Right behind him, back at the top of the order.
Yeah, Tracy right back in that second leadoff spot today.
2-2 on the way. Fastball inside. Getting out of the way was Tracy, throwing his hands up for cover, and it's a full count offering.
He's worked a few walks this season, but not against right-handed pitching, which he's had a lot of success at the plate with. 500 average against righties this year.
Definitely a spot he likes to be in. The full count pitch is a fastball, and it's cut on and foul.
Obviously a very small sample size. When I say this year, I mean this summer, and he's 6 for 12, but that's 6 hits already.
Right out there near the top of the team lead in that category, Zach. The pitch from Nichols, 3-2. This one is jammed on. It might get down, and as I say that, Lowery comes in by second base to make the play. He pops out on the infield, does Tracy, and that's the first out of the inning.
It's the first time that the leadoff man has been retired here for Falmouth in an inning, but yet no runs on the board.
And Tab Tracy tied for second right now with a wave of Commodores, including Gavin Keelan and Christian Martin for the hits lead. Charlie Condon, the only man in double digits for the Commodores to this point in the year with 10. Now back to the top, it's Spikerman for the Doors. Had a hit yesterday in his debut with Falmouth, and he walked here to lead off the ball game back in the first inning. Kind of dips his way out of that first pitch in there for a ball. The fastball in. Now the 1-0 on the way. Pretty close to the same spot. And getting the same call is Spikerman. He's ahead of it 2-0.
Yeah, the Hyannis crowd thought that one caught the corner there, but Spikerman doing a nice job seeing pitches well. Talked to him about his switch hitting earlier, and he mentioned it's almost like having 2 different people hitting.
Swinging, had the green light on the 2-0, and he pulled the breaking pitch foul. Way out in front of it there, was looking for the heater.
Yeah, and the swings are just so different from both sides. He mentions he's got more power from that right side. He's stronger with his right arm and right leg. And so from the left side, looking to make contact and find a gap, and he does that. And so it's twice the amount of swing work, he said, but he likes it.
Swinging on this one is Spikerman, backing up the right fielder Earhart, and the play is made out there in right. It jumped off the bat, but right out of glove out there in right center, 2 away.
Still a smooth swing. He's put in a lot of work from both sides and has a lot of success from both sides, doing that both at Oklahoma and now trying to translate that here to the Cape.
Yeah, it's good to see his swing here, and maybe just as important, his speed. We've already seen him swipe second base to begin this ball game. Now with 2 gone, it's Kyle DeBarge. Popped up to Alex Lane at first base. In his previous at-bat, he'll take the breaking pitch in there for a strike. Out of Louisiana, a Ragin' Cajun, now working as a Commodore this summer. Back-to-back curveballs, stay up and away on that one. It is 1-1. No hits yet for Falmouth to this point in the game. Just 2 walks for the Doors. The 1-1 offering is the same pitch, breaking ball. Kelly wasn't able to catch it, though. Would have been pretty close there up and away, but because he dropped it, I think that's why it's a 2-1 count.
Yeah, it's 3 straight pitches, pretty close to the same spot on all of them, trying to catch that outside edge. He caught it once, but hasn't been able to do it the other 2 times.
A lot of pop there in the right-handed batter's box. He quickens him up here, and DeBarge is all over it. He tattoos this one into the gap of left center. DeBarge will get on his horse. Just getting to it in center is Taylor. It's going to be a close play. It's a good throw that actually got away with the reach of Eric Snow. No one's covering as this one gets away from the pitcher's mound. It got away from Snow, heads up base running, puts DeBarge on third.
Well, and it went right through past the glove of both Alex Lane and Mason Nichols, who were trying to back that one up. And so a double and then the error And now, once again, 2 outs, runner in scoring position. Can Falmouth come through?
There is a spot out of nowhere now. So you're going to rule that one a double. We'll see what else they do and who they charge the error to.
I would assume it'll be a throwing error on the center fielder, Taylor.
Yeah, right now it just says he reaches to second on a double and then was able to advance to third. On our live feed here, I see my partner Zach Surdenik updating his feed here to get us the final answer as we shift our attention to Charlie Condon in the box. The offering from Nichols to Condon. Ground ball here to the shortstop, Snow. He'll get a second chance at it and retire the Commodores' first baseman. So the double and the error are stranded out there. It's another chance for the Doors to bring in a run. They've stranded 3 already through this game's couple innings and change. We're going to the bottom of the third. It's still scoreless here in Hyannis on the Commodores Radio Network. As we predicted, Carson Dorsey's day is over. It's another lefty, and Destiny's got the report on the new southpaw for Falmouth.
Thanks, Matt. Braden Davis was the go-to arm out of the bullpen for Sam Houston State, playing here in Falmouth with his teammate Walter Janik. The left-handed pitcher had a 2.78 ERA with 24 appearances, and this is his first time we'll see him throw for Falmouth, so I'm excited to see him here in Hyannis.
Thank you. Yes, a lot of Sam Houston State Commodores now. Walker Yannick, one of those right there, as Destiny mentioned. Not behind the plate, though, for this debut of another Sam Houston State arm.
He is not. It's going to be Ross Eiffel back there catching him, but overall a good outing for Carson Dorsey. Had the pitch count worked up a little bit in that last inning by the bottom of the order for Hyannis, but 2 innings pitched, just 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, 4 punch-outs. That's a good start.
And partner, as we begin this bottom third, they do rule the error on the second baseman, Lowry, for not being able to back that one up. And it kind of makes sense, I think, because you have the initial cutoff is who? Snow in that place?
Yes, Snow is the cutoff. Lowry's at second.
And you should, on a hop, be able to field that at second, I would think, right?
You would think, but more often than not, an error on a throw in the dirt is more often than not going to go to the throw, rather than assuming that the infielder will pick it. But
right,
they don't do that there.
Not in this spot. But now Braden Davis, as we mentioned, out there for the Commodores now. 2-0 count here. As he takes on his first batter, it's back to the top of the order. Bradkey Lowry struck out swinging when he took on Carson Dorsey to lead it off. And it's 4 consecutive balls to begin Braden Davis's outing. And another base runner aboard for Hyannis.
And that is the last thing you wanted to start things off. Davis still no harm yet, just 1 base runner, but leadoff walks turn to runs more often than not.
We continue to harp on the fact that there are a lot of debuts day in and day out as we now begin this part of the season with a ton of players finishing up their collegiate seasons and getting ready to go for summer ball. Braden Davis being one of those guys here. Second on the team in ERA with Sam Houston State. He had 57 strikeouts. That was good for 5th amongst starters and relief arms this year at Sam Houston State. He picks up his first strike here. Another one on this fastball that's popped up. Condon has room in foul territory. He will camp under it and make the play. So a nice job not only by Davis to get ahead in the count, but now he gets his first out.
And that's a good bounce back at bat. Now you get a left-handed hitter, a dangerous one, albeit in Gavin Cash, but you get a left-handed hitter, lefty-lefty matchup, try and get a ground ball, get out of the inning, or at the very least continue the momentum you built in that at bat.
We've already seen a handful of extra base hits in this ball game, a double aside to this point, and that was the story of a game that ended through just past 5 innings of work last time these two met, and it was here at McKeon Park. Davis will check over at first, keeping an eye on Bradkey Lowry, and now step back up on the hill, as you mentioned, taking on Gavin Cash. Lifting the leg and going, jamming Cash on this one, and a play on it does DeBarge do, and it's right there on the shortstop ground. It's a P6 on that one, a pop fly to the shortstop, 2 away.
Yeah, back-to-back pop outs after the leadoff walk and a chance to get out of the inning unscathed.
So after the walk on 4 straight balls, you see him now firing in there on the zone. He seems to be comfortable now.
Yeah, 3 straight strikes to follow it. Can't ask for a better bounce back.
Alex Lane steps in. He walked last time. That actually started the run in the second inning that we saw the bases loaded opportunity. As I said, that looked to be a hit and run scenario there with the man on first, Bradkey Lowry, taking off there on contact. It was fouled away by Alex Lane. So ahead of it now, 0-1 is Braden Davis. He comes set at the waist, looking at Lowry, and now he lifts his leg and goes. It's a changeup in the dirt away, and I stopped there by Highfill behind the dish. 1-1 with 2 gone here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, you wonder if they're going to put Lowry in motion over at first base and try and get the game going here with 2 outs, get a runner in scoring position.
Pitch on the way, cut on and missed. A healthy hack there from Alex Lane. And so far, the southpaw arms used by the Commodores getting a lot of cut and misses on all these righties in this lineup for Hyannis today.
Yeah, some good late movement on their pitches, the late life getting those swings and misses.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Going is Lowry. It's a check swing. That goes foul. And it was a great jump by Lowry, but now because of the contact, you have to go back to first base.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good look, but in a 1-2 count, anything close, the hitter's going to be swinging. He doesn't like that it's a check swing there, but
you could even argue that even still ahead in the count, the pitcher might decide to go to something slower there in that spot, too, to help your chances at stealing second. We'll see what happens here. He stays put. Lane does swing. It's out to shallow left center. Coming in and calling off Tracy is Spikerman. And the leadoff walk left there at first base. Couple of zeros all around through the game's first third. We'll be right back with the offense of the Doors to begin the fourth here on the Commodores Radio Network. We know the score here at McKeon Park. It's scoreless as we begin the fourth, but there is action around the Cape. Destiny, what else is going on?
Thanks, Matt. The Cotuit Kettleers and the Hartwich Mariners are at the top of the 7th, and the Mariners lead 5-4. The Brewster Whitecaps lead the Wareham Gatemen 4-2 at the top of the 7th. The YD Red Sox and the Orleans Firebirds are scoreless at the bottom of the 2nd, and the Bourne Braves and the Chatham Anglers are in pregame currently.
Couple of games to keep an eye on there. Thank you very much for that, especially in the West Division. Wareham, as you mentioned there, down earlier in the ball game, came back against Brewster, and then you obviously got to keep an eye on the division leader in Cotuit that is starting to run away with this thing at 6-1 to top the West.
Yeah, and if the scores hold, it's a good spot for whichever team comes out on top here at McKeon Park to try and gain some ground, as that Jaime Ferrer 2-run blast for Brewster put them back on top. It's 4-2 there, as Destiny mentioned. So Brewster's up on Wareham, Harwich up on Cotuit. Chance to try and claw back towards the top of the standings for these two teams here. And obviously the winner of this game will pass the other in the standings.
These two teams last year right in the thick of it in the middle of the division. To no one's surprise, in the same spot here early on, and I'd be willing to imagine that that's how it will be pretty much the rest of the way. Jace Lavalette in there to lead off the top of the 4th inning for Falmouth, looking for the first runs of the ball game, trying to help out the pitchers up to this point that have been good for Falmouth through 3. Carson Dorsey's day's over. 2 innings, he gave up a hit, no runs, walked a batter, struck out 4. 3 total base runners because of the hit by pitch on Austin Kelly. The 1-0 pitch is spiked in the dirt. 2-0 now to the cleanup hitter and designated hitter tonight out of Texas A&M.
Yeah, Lavalette, one of the top prospects in that 2025 draft class right now. The frame, you can see it. The power numbers have been there. Already 18 stolen bases this year. Just looks like a next-level player.
Fastball in on the hands in the 2-0. Lavalette wanted to swing at it, but decided better of it because of it coming in on his strikes. We'll see if he decides to turn on the green light here with the Doors. Only one hit to this point in the ball game as we begin the fourth. Fastball upstairs. He stands 6'7", but that still was too high. It's a 4-pitch walk for Lavalette.
Yeah, and a nice job to finish the walk there from Lavalette. He got ahead 3-0 in his last at-bat, and then Nichols worked back to strike him out. This time, walks on 4 pitches.
Another base runner for the Commodores, as we'll now see a mound visit on the way here. There could be action here, and the call is made. Looks like Nichols' day is over.
Yeah, and here comes Matthew Maloney out of New Mexico State.
It's a right-hander, Maloney, coming in. We'll give you all of his numbers after he begins some warm-up tosses with a leadoff base runner for Falmouth. Ross Highfill will be the first to greet him when we return on the Commodores Radio Network. Matt Maloney out of New Mexico State, a 2023 preseason all-WAC, will now step in for Hyannis on the mound with a runner aboard.
Yeah, and had himself an up-and-down year at New Mexico State. 1-6 record out of the bullpen, but the ERA under 5. 39 2/3 innings pitched. 40 hits in that span, gave up 25 runs. The strikeout to walk number is pretty good, though. 43 Ks, 21 walks. Just trying to get something going. And his first outing here for Hyannis was a good one. He had 2 1/3 innings pitched in his 2 appearances, actually, here so far. But 2 1/3 total, still yet to give up a hit, 1 walk, and a pair of strikeouts.
A couple good bats due up here. This Commodores lineup beginning to pretty loaded, as are a lot of these Cape teams, as the import of talent begins to come through pretty much every single day. Rosters seem to be changing. Highfill will start first against Maloney. Colby Shelton, a nice left-handed bat, will go up next. And then Nate Humphreys, a couple offensive juggernaut bats there in their respective schools this year.
Yeah, these teams become juggernauts as the season goes on, and that's exactly what you're seeing.
Well, they used to say this league was a league of the arms and for the pitchers, but hang on. A lot of these teams are starting to get loaded at the right time.
They are, but you got the pitchers coming in, too. These guys can throw it as well. 3-pitch mix for Maloney. Fastball, curveball, slider. Very rarely will use that slider. Mainly sticks to the fastball and then the curveball, and goes to the fastball a lot when he's behind in the count. Uses that curveball when he's ahead as that put-away type pitch.
Well, it'll be Ross Highfill. And before we can even begin, it's a pickoff move back to Lavalette. Remember, stands 6'7", but 18 stolen bases, as you said, Zach. He can certainly move it if he wants to. Extending his primary lead and eyeing the back of Maloney, who stands on the right side of the mound. First pitch swinging is Highfill. He got a lot of this one, and it looks to be gone. The 2-run shot into the trees and straight away left center field. Ross Highfill, first pitch swinging. A 2-run shot gives the Commodores a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Ross Highfill knew that one immediately. Gave it a ride. Second round tripper of the summer for number 22. And a good start to the inning, and not the start that Maloney was looking for out of the pen.
Second of the summer, as you said, partner. Ross Highfill must have looked at the scouting report yourself. You say he goes to the fastball a lot, so much so that even behind in the counts, you can expect him to start with it. That's exactly what he did. It's not very deep to straightaway center, only 379. And that one was certainly sent a long way into the trees that surround the perimeter of this baseball field in McKeon Park. But it is Falmouth with the lead, 2-0. Here in the top of the fourth, still nobody out. After the walk from Lavalette, the pitching change, and a loud way to bring in 2 runs.
Yeah, that's how you want to start things. And you just saw there the curveball to Shelton. That's that other pitch that Maloney goes to a lot. We'll see if he leans on a little more after getting hit so hard on the fastball.
A ball and a strike here to Colby Shelton in the box. Gives him a breaking ball here, a check of the swing. Didn't look like Shelton went, and that was a very low pitch that ended up being low and in on the breaking ball. Nonetheless, it was still called a strike.
Yeah, home plate umpire said that Shelton went around there, and it's a good spot for Maloney.
I don't know about that. A ball and 2 strikes now with Shelton behind in the count. Goes fastball upstairs, forcing Kelly to jump out of the crouch, evening the count at 2.
I love the kids out in center field right now trying to find the ball in the woods and look where it went. I think they're going to have to look a little deeper than where they're at right now.
I was going to say, they're at the base of the fence. They're going to have to really go in there and look for it. 2-2 now from Maloney. Fastball that was spiked. Kelly's really having to put his chest on the line here. He's had a couple of those in the dirt from Maloney since the home run.
It's a good at-bat from Shelton. Had a similar at-bat in his last at-bat against Nichols. Nichols won that battle, but Shelton doing a nice job of making Maloney work here.
Highfill picking up RBIs 4 and 5 on the season. He's now in second for the Commodore lead. Fastball, swing and a miss. It's a healthy hack there by Shelton, who's retired for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, but for a guy that's just getting back into seeing live ABs for the first time in a little bit, since Super Regionals, they got sent to Winston-Salem, and that has been a train that no one has wanted to get in front of in Wake Forest right now. And so he took a week or so, and now he's back to seeing live ABs, so you like him seeing a lot of pitches.
So now Nate Humphreys will step in there with nobody on. 1 away now. A really big banana breaking ball there. Ends up on the inside part of the zone for a ball. Maloney thinking better of offering another big heavy bat in the Commodore order. A fastball on the first pitch. Behind it now 1-0. The pitch, it's another one that starts above the head of Humphreys. Ends up being pretty much at the letters. 2-0 now. Same pitch, same result. Has he bought himself a 2-0 fastball to get on here? Maloney from the stretch now with nobody aboard. Fires a fastball, and cutting on it was Humphreys. He sent it straight back foul.
Yeah, he's car hunting here in the parking lot back there. We talked about it a few times yesterday at YD, but you're going to have to hit one up a hill, which is a little harder to do, but yeah, he's looking for it.
It's like your golf shot when you have a lob wedge, but there's an elevation difference you have to worry about. Same idea here. 2-1 now from Maloney. It's a curveball. Looking for the heater again. He's way out in front of it and chopped it foul.
See, you have to worry about the elevation difference on a lob wedge because you can actually hit a lob wedge up in the air. I can only do that sometimes, so I don't worry about it as much. Sometimes you just have to go hit it when you're not very good.
Don't give me too much credit. I'm only a 12 handicap. It's not impressive.
See, but you know what your handicap is, which makes you better than me automatically.
You have to track the good rounds and the bad ones for that. 2-2 now to Humphreys. Breaking ball that's in the dirt. A nice block behind the plate. And from 2-0 to then 2 straight foul balls, now the count is full. A couple Commodores have worked some full count at bats here against both arms in Nichols and Maloney now. As the full count offering on the way, the leg lift and the pitch. This one is sliced foul by the bullpen out in left for Hyannis. And buying another pitch here is Humphreys. Pitch number 7 of the at-bat getting ready to come underway here to Humphreys, who's bent real low at the knees. The bat parallel here. The pitch on the way. It's a breaking ball that he kind of cast his hands out, flirting with getting down in short left center. It does not. The play is made by Eric Snow. That's 2 outs here for the Commodores in the 4th.
Yeah, Maloney settled himself in, and that's why it's so important to get to a guy like Maloney right away and attack him early in his outing, and you can't attack him any earlier than Ross Highfill did.
literally the very first offering since his warm-up pitch is out there and left in the bullpen area of the Harbor Hawks. And this is Christian Martin stepping in, looking for a heater on the first pitch. He comes up with nothing, as that was a breaking ball in the dirt. A nice pitch there by Maloney. Christian Martin's been here since opening day. 6 hits and 24 at-bats now for the second baseman out of Virginia Tech. Behind in the count, 0-1 here to Maloney. The pitch on the way. It's the same pitch. This time, though, checking his swing for a ball was Christian Martin, 1-1.
Maloney wanted an appeal, and Austin Kelly did not, as he had a better look at it. Then they eventually do appeal down, and as expected, no swing.
Once again, former teammates still in the box here, with Kelly being on the Commodores roster a few days into the opening of the season. A big breaking ball here inside the zone for a strike. You got to certainly be looking for that. You know, it hangs up there a little bit, but they still come in relatively fast in the mid-70s. Pitch on the way is a fastball upstairs. It's cut on and sent foul. That one did get up the hill near that parking lot, but you still would have to carry it maybe another, I don't know, 20 feet. Yeah, I think your car's safe tonight. It may not have been safe yesterday at YD.
It was safe. It was safe.
So of the 3 thumps we heard, it was not your car that got damaged.
I can confirm.
A ball and 2 strikes with 2 away. It's a breaking ball. Popped up in foul territory near the dugout of Hyannis. Giving chase is Smith. He'll run out of real estate as this one tight ropes along the top of the dugout of Hyannis before falling to the ground.
Yeah, Smith came sprinting over there. He wanted that one, but in the end just gave himself a better view.
Christian Martin was not in the lineup yesterday. It was Keelan who moved to second base, with the incoming players moving to the middle infield. This is a breaking ball in the dirt, blocked there by Kelly. It's 2-2.
Yeah, this is a very stacked infield for Falmouth right now. I mean, you're looking at the infield already tonight with Shelton, DeBarge, Martin, and Condon, and that's without Gavin Keelan or Deuce Corson.
2-2 with 2 out. The deuces are wild here in the top of the 4th. It's a fastball up at the head. Martin had to lean out of the way, doing his best impression of playing limbo there, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, got that Matrix look. Got to get out of the way of that one.
Were you ever good at that game, Zach, limbo?
I mean, I wasn't terrible. I don't know how you can be bad at limbo.
Well, where that pitch was, you know, that's probably level 1, where you just barely have to you're standing, you know, without a knee bend or anything, but as the bar continues to get lower, that's where
the real talent separates.
Right. You and I both in that category. 3-2 with 2 away. It's a fastball slicing down the line. That's going to be a fair ball the opposite way off the glove of Smith. Martin with a wide turn of the bag at first. And because of the turbulence of knocking down the glove, it keeps Martin to a single. And that guy by Smith cleanly. I think that's a double with 2 away.
Yeah, Cam Smith moves real well over there at third base, but a nice job to get the glove on it and keep Martin from getting any further. But you like to see Christian Martin picking up that 2-out hit, another base runner, and another chance here for Falmouth to add on as they try to flip the lineup over here with Tab Tracy.
Martin picks up his hit here. It's his 7th on the season, and Tab Tracy steps in now in the 9th spot. Tracy's been very, very good down in the bottom part of the order. We didn't see him yesterday, but he's back out in the field and left as he's behind 0-1 to begin here. Maloney, first guy he saw was Highfield. We saw the home run that cleared the bases. That can help us finish Mason Nichols' line, but now himself, he's allowed Martin to reach. He goes with the slider here. It's cut on and missed. And now behind 0-2 is Tab Tracy. A long inning here that has seen already a pitching change on the Hyannis side. As coming set on the mound is Maloney, trying to escape it here with limited damage. Going on the pitch is Martin. It doesn't matter. It's cut on and missed. A fastball upstairs. But not before Ross Highfield tattooed a baseball over the 379 sign out in center, giving the Commodores a 2-0 lead in the early stages of this game at McKeon Park. Stay with us with the bats of Hyannis coming up on the other side of the break here on the Commodores Radio Network. Braden Davis back out there to begin the 4th inning. We know the rest of the line for Mason Nichols because of the home run from Highfill. Just over 3 innings pitched. He gave up a hit. 1 run, it was earned. He walked 3 batters and struck out 2 Commodores. A solid effort nonetheless to begin. Really, only the hit he gave up was the DeBarge double with 2 out back in the 3rd inning. It was a 2-out double. He ended up being stranded, so the only damage was the walk of Lavalette that came in on the home run given up by Matt Baloney. First pitch here from Davis, fastball away with Will Taylor stepping in. He had a double himself down the left field line. That made it 3rd and 2nd, nobody out back in the 2nd inning, and Carson Dorsey walked out of that one unscathed.
Yeah, that was a massive way to get through the bases loaded jam there from Dorsey.
Pulling the string on that one to even the count at 1. Nice cut there. Coming up empty, though, was Taylor. Just a really, really good pitch. The slider in on right-handed bats as a lefty is just such an effective pitch. Goes with the fastball away, though, and doesn't get the zone. 2-1 now.
Yeah, walked the first guy that he faced in Brad Keylori in the last inning on 4 pitches, but after that was ahead in the count every single AB. Needs to get back to that here against Will Taylor.
Out of the full wind, the 2-1 from Davis. Drops the hook on him once again on the outer half. 2-2.
And that's right where you want to be, back even in the count.
Finding a way to get back into it using the breaking ball to help him pick up some strikes in the at-bat. It's evened up, though. Does he repeat it here? The 2-2, he goes with it. It's low and away. Highfill had to pick that one out of the dirt. And the count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch on the way, 3-2, swing and a miss, goes with the fastball. And Taylor, something to say after that one coming up empty. It's another strikeout for the Commodore lefties that have been out there tonight.
Really nice job to get through that at-bat and find your way to a good start to the inning and just continue to keep rolling here.
Strikeout number 5 from the Commodores here defensively on the mound. 4 of them belong to Carson Dorsey, and that's the first picked up by Davis. Cameron Smith greets him here for the first time with a swing and miss on that breaking ball. The 0-1 from Davis out of the wind, slows him down again and gets the same result. Swing and a miss. Davis rolling now with that slider, Zach.
We're getting some ugly swings from Hyannis against both of these first 2 pitchers. They're doing a nice job of mixing things up.
You could work him backwards here. He goes with a pitch in the dirt. Not a bad idea. Don't want to get too ahead of yourself here as that fastball misses down low, 1-2.
Yeah, bounced in the change piece there. Or the fastball. I can't really tell.
Couldn't tell on that.
Bounces in, but yeah, definitely wasn't going to get a called strike on that one.
We could see him go back to that slider. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout to begin this half inning by Hyannis on the offensive side. Davis picks up his 2nd strikeout of the game in as many batters to begin the 4th.
It's a really nice pitch. It's got some good movement to it late and getting some ugly swings.
Ugly swings indeed. Now Eric Snow will come in. He had the dribbler back to Carson Dorsey, and as we say that, just a really ugly swing in the box there from Snow. Pulled out his sword right there. Coming up empty, going down in the dirt. The 0-1 once again, and this one made contact. It's chopped back towards the dugout of Hyannis, and again, nothing in 2. My goodness, Braden Davis looks locked in right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of the fastball. It's been slider changeup pretty much exclusively.
Here it is, though. It's a fastball forcing Highfill to jump out and grab it up and away. 1-2. He had a 1-2 count in the previous at-bat, went with the slider. He could go to anything he wants here, and it would be justified. Here it comes out of the wind. The pitch on the way slows him down. It's a ground ball for DeBarge. On the short hop, has to fire a dart, picked out of the dirt unsuccessfully by Charlie Condon. This one will roll out of play, and that will actually allow Eric Snow to move on to 2nd.
Colby Shelton dove there, and I think he got in the way of DeBarge, and it kind of caused a little bit of a disconnect at shortstop from DeBarge, and that's what allowed Snow to advance the extra base on that error. I believe it's going to be a single and then an error would be my guess of what that will be. But either way, a 2-out base runner and some trouble here now for Davis on the mound.
I would rule it the same way. We'll see what they go to here.
They do rule it the same.
And it is Austin Kelly stepping up. He got hit by a pitch after working a very lengthy at-bat that saw a full count on 4 offerings from Carson Dorsey. So Snow given the base hit. Then you had the throwing error by DeBarge, allowing him to move on to second. And this one's in the dirt from Braden Davis, going all the way back to the screen and a free 90 feet. So suddenly, on what was a ground ball in the infield with 2 away, the base runner is all the way to third.
But you mentioned 2 away. Still a chance to get out of this unscathed here if you can retire Austin Kelly.
Austin Kelly made it tough to try to put him out. He did not get put out last time. And it remains another left-on-left matchup here for the former Commodore in the box. Pitch on the way, popped up, heading foul, just barely over the screen here, and it will clank off the dugout roof of Falmouth along the first base line.
Yeah, there were a lot of foul balls in that last at-bat. Austin Kelly, he was hit on the 10th pitch of the AB, and it still didn't even get to a 3-ball count. He worked Carson Dorsey really well. This is the first time that he's seeing Braden Davis. We'll see what Davis can do in a 2-strike count here.
Davis trying to pull a Houdini here as well and mimic what Dorsey did back in the second. He comes set at the waist and the pitch on the way. Breaking ball sent foul into the screen. Austin Kelly seeing the baseball really, really well, making a lot of contact through, again, very limited at-bats. He only saw two games of action for Falmouth. A handful of at-bats while he was a Commodore, and then was 0 for 3 yesterday in his debut with Hyannis. The pitch on the way is spiked. That's a nice block behind the plate by Ross Highfill. 2-2.
Yeah, got to keep it in front. I mean, we already saw Snow move up on the wild pitch, and the wild pitches have hurt the Commodores. I mean, you can argue yesterday, if not for the wild pitch by Paul Manzani, with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th, the Commodores win that game in YD.
2-2 from the lefty Davis. This one's line down the line and foul. He pulled that one, and just ahead of it was Austin Kelly. He'll circle around the home plate area, adjust his gloves, and step back in there. By a matter of feet, this game remains still 2-0 Falmouth.
Well, and he did the same thing with 2 in scoring position. His last at-bat almost put one over the fence out in right field. He got on a pitch he liked, and he roped it, but couldn't keep it fair.
Big spot here, the 2-2 offering. Swing and a miss. It's 3 strikeouts in the inning from Braden Davis on the slider. Getting Kelly retired on the swinging punch-out. The doors remain up 2 as we go to the 5th. And another job by a lefty pitchers getting out of jams for Falmouth. We'll be right back on the other side of the break here on the Commodores Radio Network. Matt Maloney's day is over after a little bit of trouble in the previous inning, and the new arm is Ethan Bates.
Ethan Bates, outstanding this season. One of the best two-way players in the country at Louisiana Tech. On the offensive side, he hit .270 with 16 bombs. And then on the mound, 4-3 record, .302 ERA. Also had 10 saves there as a bullpen arm for Louisiana Tech. 44 2/3 innings pitched, 16 runs, 57 Ks, 14 walks.
He's got good stuff, and he's got a spot here to try to hold the lead where it is for Falmouth. Going up against the top of the order, 1-2-3, John Spikerman greets him with a big swing and miss.
He's got an explosive fastball to go along with a slider and a changeup. Curveball that he will use extremely rarely. It's mainly just the fastball slider change.
Looked like the changeup there that got the same result as the previous pitch. Behind 0-2 here to begin the fifth is Spikerman. Reached on a walk back in the first. Flew out to right last time up in the third. Falmouth on top 2-0. The pitch from Bates is another changeup. Same result. Swing and miss from Spikerman. Haven't seen too many at-bats with him like that early, going down on 3 pitches. With a little chuckle on his face as he says a word to DeBarge, 1 away.
Yeah, that pitch is nasty from Bates. I mean, there's a reason that he was the back-end bullpen arm for Louisiana Tech, and that is a very good program there in Ruston, and just getting things done out of the bullpen here for Hyannis.
His first team all-conference in the Conference USA this past season. First pitcher looks to be some sort of one of his fastballs there in on the hands, chopped foul by DeBarge.
Yeah, and the fastball is really good, as I mentioned. It's explosive out of his hand, but that changeup and the slider are really his best pitches. You've got to attack that fastball when you get it.
Lifted the leg, and he fires one. It looks to be the fastball trying to paint low and away, missing his spot there. 1-1 with 1 away. Kyle DeBarge credited with that error that nearly allowed a runner to score on that throw that was not picked successfully by Condon. Swing and a miss here by DeBarge. He did have the double, though, back in the third. The first of now 2 extra base hits from Falmouth here tonight.
Yeah, very different ball game than the last time we were here.
Correct. With the Doors on top now 2-0. Breaking ball here, low and away. Nice take there by DeBarge. At this point in the ball game, the Doors' lead was about to be blown. They started a 5-1 lead before it was erased, and by the end of the 5th inning, it was 6-5 Hyannis. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 away. The pitch, swing and a miss, goes with the curveball there. Got a nice cut and miss from DeBarge. 2 up, 2 down via the strikeout from Bates.
Yeah, this guy is filthy on the mound, and he's just continuing to try and find his way through and get things going.
Charlie Condon trying to change history here with the 2 previous guys ahead of him going down, swinging and missing. Condon looking for his first hit today. Chops one on the first pitch he sees. This will go right up the middle. It's a 2-out base hit for Charlie Condon. He continues his success. Hit number 11 on the year for the big first baseman for Falmouth. Here with 2 outs, there is a base runner aboard for Lavalette.
He just gets on base. He continues to find his way through, and Falmouth has had a base runner in every inning so far to this point. Lavalette trying to keep things moving.
They have also stranded 1 runner in every single inning to this point. That's a positive sign, given that this offense is at times, you've wanted to see them get involved a little bit. The last time they were at McKeon Park, though, the offense was not lacking. That is for sure. First pitch to Lavalette. Fastball that runs arm side run away from Lavalette in the left-handed batter's box. Ahead of it 1-0. With a 2-0 lead here for the Commodores if you're just tuning in. A 2-run shot back in the 4th by Ross Highfield to straightaway center field. And that's all we've seen to this point. Bates fires one. This is on the ground. Back up the middle after a diving reach from Lowry. Back-to-back base hits with 2 away from the big bats of the Falmouth order. And that buys Ross Highfield a chance with 2 men on.
Yeah, just keeping things moving, and this is the guy you want at the plate.
Ross Highfield at times has been in and out of the order because of allowing other catchers opportunities here in the Cape season. And, the lineup here not true to a, set in stone 9-man order. A lot of guys trying to get looks. The coaches having to balance that with collegiate coaches offering word and getting different opportunities. But now it is Ross Highfield who will step in. The big swing an inning ago that scored Lavalette, who reached on a walk. Highfield, 1 official at bat. He did walk back in the 2nd inning. So 1 for 1 to this point in the day. And we'll see Bates here trying to get out of a jam of his own here. Breaking ball to begin to Highfield. It's too low below the knees. A nice take there by the backstop of Falmouth. 1-0.
That's a tough pitch to hit if you do anything on it. And Ethan Bates thought he caught the corner there. Just couldn't catch that edge on the front door.
A long look to second, and now Bates fires. It's a slider a little bit up, getting the strike here. Pretty much belt high and away.
Now,
1-1.
Highfield's a fastball masher, so you're not going to give him a heater here. I think he's going to exclusively see that slider changeup mix as long as Bates doesn't fall behind.
I think you're right. A look to Condon at second. Here is that slider on the inner half of the zone, called for a strike. Highfield grimacing a little bit, wasn't a fan of that call, but now you have to protect.
Well, and it was really close to the spot of that first pitch that wasn't called a strike, and I think that's where Highfield's complaint is.
Chance here for Bates to get out of trouble here. A look to Condon, now he goes. He pulls the string. It misses low inside, 2-2. Again, you talk about not wanting to throw the fastball. This would be a spot for it, but we haven't seen it yet here to the home run swinger of Falmouth. Coming set on the mound is Bates. Again, still looks at Condon, and now he'll go. It's the slider. It's cut on and missed. A nice job working around Highfield here with the Commodores stranding those two out base hits. Still 2-0 Doors as we send it now to the bottom of the fifth inning. They strand a pair, with Falmouth still on top as we head to the break here on the Commodores Radio Network. Braden Davis back out there for a third inning of work as we begin the fifth inning. He's looked very, very good. Struck out the side, working around a base hit that he gave up with 2 outs, but still was able to retire all 3 men he faced in the fourth inning via the strikeout. Facing the 9-hole hitter, Zach Earhart, to begin the bottom of the fifth, and it's a fastball low and away for a strike.
Good start. That's how you want to start things off, getting ahead in the count. That's been so key for Davis to this point. When he's ahead, he's in control, and he has been firmly in control.
Out of the wind, a big breaking ball there. Stayed up and away from Davis. We've seen him go to that a lot. Especially that was the curveball there, but he likes the slider in on the righties. Could be a spot for one right here on the 1-1. He goes with the fastball, and it's popped up foul behind our heads here. And gets himself, again, ahead in a count, 1-2. Had a full count with Will Taylor back in the fourth, and then the following 3 guys gotten 1-2 counts, and that's where we are right now here with a ball and 2 strikes. Looked like the slider, forcing Highfield to move to his right there and snag that one, 2-2. Davis from the full wind gets the call and now works in the motion the pitch. Fastball away, and from 1-2, it is now full to the 9-man in the order of Hyannis. Brad Lowry on deck.
I wonder if he's going to go to the changeup here, even in this 3-2 count, try and get him a fish at it.
A chance here, and I think that's what he got, and his bat goes flying as he comes up empty there. Swing and a miss.
You know, the bat flying might scare the fish away if you're trying to fish with it, but he went fishing and came up empty.
That one was flung. Same result, though, for Braden Davis, who has looked very, very good in relief of Carson Dorsey. Picks up another strikeout.
Yeah, you go to your best pitch in a 3-2 spot. That's what he does there.
And Highfield with the right-handed batter As we now see the breaking ball in there for a strike. On the strikeout, threw it down to first base, and Condon wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
The baseball sailed into right field, and Charlie did one of these shoulder shrugs as in, hey, why was I getting that one? And the two shared a laugh after Earhart was sent back to the dugout.
Yeah, different things in different spots.
That's exactly what it looked like there. The 1-1 here from Davis. Fastball up, makes it a 2-1 count. Bradkey Lowry struck out in the first, walked his last time up. Looking for his first hit of the ball game here. Out of the motion, the pitch got him to check his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did on the appeal to first. 2-2 now with Davis battling back in the count. We've seen a couple of those swords from the Southpaws today. With everything going the way it is against this heavy right-handed lineup, the lefties on the mound have had the advantage. 2-2. Slows it down and got a check swing call. Strike 3. 5 now for Davis in a little over 3 innings of work. He continues to roll with 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th.
And this has been an outstanding debut for Davis after got a little worried when he came in and walked the first guy on 4 pitches, but retired the next 3. And since then, the next 5 outs after that have all been by way of the strikeout.
5 consecutive, as you said, partner. Trying to change that is Billy Amick, who takes a fastball right down the middle for a strike.
Amick certainly has the talent to change that. We've seen what he's done already this season, but a pair of pop-outs for him to this point tonight.
Goes with that breaking ball in the outer half. It stayed away, though, off the plate. 1-1 to the designated hitter in tonight's lineup. The pitch from Davis, slider away, same spot, didn't get the call, and it's 2-1. We've seen him go in on the lefties, or excuse me, the right-handers with that slider. He's staying away here on this one. This is a fastball in on the hands, sent over our heads and foul. And Davis again getting back into the count here after falling a little bit behind there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trying to continue to work with the strikeout. The pitch, fastball upstairs. That one stayed up. Amick steps out of the box. It's 3-2. You'd want to just keep rolling through the inning here and not allow a runner to reach. Pitch on the way. It's a fastball away, and there's a walk. The second walk for Davis to this point. As we mentioned, there is activity in the Commodores bullpen, but it appears that Davis will at least get through this last out before we see Antoine John.
Big spot against a very dangerous hitter in Cash. He's waiting to get going, almost like a sleeping giant in this lineup for Hyannis based on what he did at Texas Tech.
Yesterday was Cash's first game since coming over from the Red Raiders once their season ended. Went 0 for 3 yesterday. And to this point in this ball game, 0 for 2. He takes that one for a ball, though. A ball and no strikes. Davis lifts the leg and goes. A check swing there. He did not go around from Gavin Cash in the left-handed batter's box. And Davis now behind 2-0. Haven't seen that too often from him.
You have not. Back-to-back fastballs just outside.
Slows it down, gets the call. That's been his best pitch to this point. It's a slider starting in and ending over the middle to the left-handers for the first strike of the at-bat. A look to first where Billy Amick extends his primary lead. Just a little bit now. Davis, a couple looks back to him, lifts the leg and goes. Got a breaking ball in the dirt, cut on and missed. Another one of those swords. And from 2-0 to 2-2 is where we stand.
Yeah, that was a really nice pitch. Setting it up off of that breaking ball that he threw for a strike on the pitch before, starting it over the heart and bending it straight into the ground. 5
straight outs via the strikeout. Davis looking for number 6 right here. The pitch on the way, dribbled on the ground to Condon. He will do it himself. Braden Davis continues to roll through 3 innings right there. And more importantly, the Commodores strand the 2-out walk. Still 2-0 Falmouth as we go to the 6th. It'll be Zach Surdenik taking over on the play-by-play duties with the Commodores still out in front. 2-0 on the Commodores Radio Network.
Ethan Bates out for a second inning of work. We're here in the top of the 6th. It's a 2-0 ball game. Falmouth in front. I'm Zach Surdenik alongside Venezia and Destiny Sanchez and Laura Schroeder helping us out on the graphics tonight here at McKeon Park. The 2-run blast from Ross Highfield, the lone score for us to this point, and it is 6-7-8 in the Falmouth order. Stepping up to the dish, Colby Shelton digs in from the left side. 3 straight lefties to face the righty Ethan Bates. 3 strikeouts in his first inning of work, worked around back-to-back 2-out singles from Charlie Condon and Jace Lavalette. First pitch from Bates. It's a slider that stays outside to Colby Shelton. 1-0 is the count, 0 for 2 so far. The Alabama third baseman today. It was a shortstop, the Crimson Tide this season. Chops one on the left side. Flipped over to first in time. And a quick put out there for out number 1.
Yeah, just waiting to see, obviously, the new guys get in. Their first games have been relatively slow. I mean, you look at a guy like Deuce Gorson yesterday, 0 for 4, 4 strikeouts. Right now, 0 for 3 so far for Colby Shelton. It'll come. These guys are certainly capable. That's why they're here in the Cape League, and it's an adjustment after taking some time away from the live ABs and having a wood bat instead of the metal sticks these guys are used to.
For sure. Shelton got in just yesterday. Nate Humphreys steps in, takes the first pitch outside for ball 1 on the breaking ball. Humphreys bats from the left side, 0 for 2 so far. Bends the knees in the stance, holds that bat almost straight, parallel to the ground over that left shoulder. The righty Bates delivers. Fastball fouled back out of play on the third base side. It's 1-1. Sun starting to set here on a chilly evening in Hyannis.
A very different ball game than what we saw the last time we were here, partner.
That it is. Bates comes set at the belt. Leg kick, 1-1. Is pulled on the first base side. Lane will pick it out of the dirt. High flip over the head of Bates that gets all the way to the wall, and Humphreys will move on up to second, an E3, and a runner in scoring position with 1 away for Falmouth.
Will certainly be ruled an error there on the first baseman, Alex Lane. The flip, I mean, the ball pulled him off the bag pretty far. You know, he was moving a couple steps to his right. Humphreys not the quickest guy in the world, but I mean, he was moving down there, and you knew you had to be quick. It wasn't the exact replica we just saw from Colby Shelton, but that underhand flip, too much air, not enough distance, no shot for the pitcher to get there and cover. That was Ethan Bates, and now out of nowhere, you have a runner in scoring position with 1 away.
Humphreys creeping off that bag at second, being held on by the shortstop, Snow. Christian Martin, that open stance, squares to bunt, can't get it down, and he sends it to the backstop. 0-1.
Well, now you have Cam Smith being wary of that opportunity. I mean, again, we talked about this, I think, yesterday. If you bunt, and if Christian Martin's kind of giving himself up, okay, you move the runner to third, but there's 2 outs. You know, you still have to come up with an opportunity, and it's another lefty on deck. In Tab Tracy, maybe you like his bat more to bring in the run than Martin.
Bates staggers the feet, works first base side, and a pitch bounces off of the chest protector of Kelly and down that first base line. It allows Humphreys to move up, and now that insurance run for Falmouth just 90 feet away with still just 1 out.
Well, I think up 2, you shouldn't see a squeeze play here. You'd really only see that in a tie ball game, maybe down later in this game. So it kind of takes the bunt out of the cards here, I think, for Christian Martin. And now you can swing away. The infield is in on the grass, though, so it's got to leave the infield to have a shot.
1-1 breaking ball and a yellow light swing from Martin there. Came up empty, instantly regretted going around, but couldn't hold back the swing.
Yeah, that was not very pretty. Not one of the better swings we've seen from Martin up to this point in the summer.
Infield still in, but a shift now as Eric Snow moves pretty much right in line with second base. Swing and a miss, breaking ball. Martin couldn't get to it as Bates retires him via the spinner. And 2 away with Tab Tracy stepping up to the dish.
Now the problem with not being certain about a swing and doing that yellow light swing in the previous pitch, Zach, is you kind of are playing with your cards shown. You know, you're showing what you were kind of sitting on. Clearly was not that pitch. So Bates says, okay, let's go back to that, and you get the same result.
Infield now deep with 2 away. Tracy takes the first pitch heater for a called strike on the inner third. It's 0-1. Top of the order waiting on deck, John Spikerman. Tracy 0 for 2, a pop out and a strikeout. Outfielder from Texas A&M holds that bat at an angle over the left shoulder. Bates lifts the leg. The 0-1 chopped right back towards us here. slightly on the first base side behind home plate. It's quickly 0-2 to Tracy. It's the first time he's seen Bates. Saw Nichols once and popped out, and then saw Matt Maloney for that strikeout. Now gets Bates. The righty comes set at the belt. The 0-2. Hit on the ground left side. Snow fields it on a hop. Going to have to make a tight throw and gets Tracy by a step. Commodores get one on the error, but leave him standing at third. It's a 2-0 ball game. Heading to the bottom of the sixth right here on the Commodores Radio Network. Braden Davis's outing is done, but it was a good one in his Commodores debut. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, and 5 punch-outs for the Sam Houston State Bearcat. And now he gives way to the Alabama lefty. It's Antoine Jean.
Yeah, Antoine John, we saw him against Harwich the other night. That's his only appearance on the year. He went 2 innings, gave up 2 hits. Not much else. No walks, no strikeouts. Used the help of his defense to really get that hold for them. We saw Casey Hunt come in for the 3-out save. Jean, very capable, the left-handed arm out of Alabama, as you mentioned. Again, probably just a hold situation here. Casey Hunt is most certainly hot tonight. He hasn't thrown in a couple days, so you would expect to see Casey, should Antoine do his job here and hold the effort.
You also have Luke Garofalo in the back end of the bullpen. He was impressive in his one outing, and he is potentially up tonight as well. Jean will face the heart of this order for Hyannis. Alex Lane, Will Taylor, and Cam Smith to step up to the dish. 3 righties against the lefty, Jean. Missed the season this year for Alabama with an injury, but back here for the summer. Yet another summer with the Doors. Had himself the home opener last year for Falmouth on the mound. That was against Harwich as well. First pitch swinging, and Alex Lane sends one to deep center. Spikerman going back to the wall, and it's off the top of it in dead center. Spikerman with a strong throw will hold Lane to a double. The crowd here at McKeon Park thought they had a bomb. Instead, it's just a 2-bagger, but either way, it's a good start to the inning for Hyannis.
There were a lot of those in the last time these two teams met, and with how center field set up here, again, it's not very long, 379 straight away. That was on the right center field side. The trees actually hang over the fence, so Spikerman kind of had to look up and just see where it was going to land because the trees are kind of in your way, obstructing over the top of the wall. But same thing with what Maloney threw to Highfield. First pitch fastball, if you're looking for it and it's there, swing at it, and Alex Lane of all bats is certainly capable.
Brings up Will Taylor. He gets the breaking ball for a called strike. 0-1. Taylor has a double of his own back in the second, but was left stranded on second base as Dorsey got his way out of a bases-loaded jam there. Couple of looks back to second base from Jean. Goes right back to the bender and is quickly ahead 0-2.
Yeah, really good to get back ahead, not let that first pitch you throw hurt you yet. Ahead quickly, a really good-looking breaking ball from the southpaw. He uses it so effectively and has a chance here for his first strikeout on the summer.
Tall lefty comes set, holds the glove at the chin. The 0-2 is a fastball just below the knees of the right-handed hitter, Will Taylor. Clemson Tiger plays baseball and football at Clemson. Won an ACC title in both. I'd say that's doing pretty well.
Yeah, I would agree. Clemson having some good years in the Trevor Lawrence era. And
1-2 pulled foul right over the bullpen down that left field line, and another 1-2 coming.
couple different quarterbacks since Trevor Lawrence departed as a first overall selection, 2019 NFL draft to the Jaguars, but really impressive nonetheless. I mean, sometimes coaches kind of get you to pick one or the other when you make it to the collegiate level, but if you can do them both that well and stay consistent in both, then why not?
The 1-2 again from Jean, and Taylor just gets a piece of the off speed and stays alive. Another 1-2 upcoming. Taylor has really good speed, the center fielder and wide receiver from that right-handed batter's box. Alex Lane creeping off of the bag at second after his leadoff double. The 2-run homer from Ross Highfill, the difference to this point here in the bottom of the 6th. Couple of looks back to second. Jean delivers and gets a swing and a miss. Blows the heater by him. First punch out of the outing for Antoine Jean, and one away here in the bottom of the 6th.
Nice response. Had to work for it a little bit because of the foul balls, but nonetheless, he's got such a good breaking ball that sets you up to speed him up, and that's exactly what we saw there. First on the summer for Antoine on the hill.
Brings up Cam Smith. Takes off speed down in the dirt. A 1-0 count now. Smith, pair of punch-outs, one against each of the two Commodores' arms. Jean gives a couple looks back to Lane, delivers, chopper left side. Lane going right away. Going to be a tough play for DeBarge, throwing across his body. Pulls Condon off the bag, tried to put the tag on him and couldn't get him. Runners on the corners with one away. High chopper and good speed from Cam Smith, creating opportunities for Hyannis in the 6th.
Yeah, going to have to rule that in E4, unfortunately, the second, or E6 rather, excuse me. That's the second time we've seen a tough play over there. Despite, I mean, it looks like a routine ground ball, but then I looked the last second on the last hop in the grass. It kind of took a weird hop to the left of Kyle DeBarge, kind of ate him up in a different spot than he was expecting to receive that baseball. I think it meant a late adjustment, and that may be why he airmailed the throw there a little bit.
Bunt laid down, and it will roll just foul. Eric Snow tried to get the squeeze across and bring in the run as well as move the tying run into scoring position, but couldn't keep it fair. That is officially ruled a single on that ground ball. The shortstop, the slow chopper, would have been a tough play for DeBarge to get Smith. And so an 0-1 count now for Eric Snow. We'll see if the sign is on again here. It wasn't a suicide squeeze. It was a safety squeeze put on by the Harbor Hawks. They don't go to it here, and the pitch misses up from Jean and evens up the count 1-1.
Could have been an intentional pitch out there with not necessarily jumping out of the box prior to the ball getting there. Just trying to keep tabs. Again, Eric Snow, a lot of speed in the box there. He's very capable of bunting.
Breaking ball, chopped on the right side. Martin fields, underhand flip in time. The run comes across. Smith moves up to second base, so no bunt, but the same effect on that ground out from Snow. It brings across the run, and the tying run in scoring position with two away, and Austin Kelly coming up to the plate.
Well, good guy to have up in Austin Kelly. Hitless to this point with the hit by pitch and the strikeout, but he has worked some really, really good at-bats. Again, going up against another arm that he's caught many outings and bullpens with leading up to, the early part of this season. But that was pretty close. Martin going with the underhand there. My goodness, almost beating that out with Snow.
Well, and every time that Kelly's come up to this point, it seems to be a big spot. This one, no different. First pitch is a curveball that stays up, and Kelly's ahead in the count now 1-0. Big shift on here against Kelly from Falmouth. Three infielders on the right side. Fastball, outer third, called strike. It's 1-1. Outfield playing fairly deep against Kelly. He has good numbers in the spring at Lipscomb. Can definitely hit the long ball. 20 homers for the Bisons. 1-1 is roped out to right center. Tab Tracy can't get to it, and it's going to get down. Throw comes in. Kelly cruises into second. He changes places. We're tied at 2 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, certainly sitting on that, all those foul balls earlier in this game and battling and taking one off the hands and striking out in a big spot. You could tell he was due for a big rope out there to the pull side, and that's what we saw there. Tough to not feel happy for Austin Kelly there cruising into second, but nonetheless, the ball game's tied.
Yeah, the Commodores giving up the lead here in the bottom of the 6th. And still not out of the woods yet as Zach Earhart steps in. First pitch, it's a fastball that just misses inside, and it's 1-0. Kelly still stands at second base. Not the quickest runner, but does have good enough IQ that he'll be going on contact and should get a good jump here. So anything hit to the outfield that gets down could bring in the go-ahead run for Hyannis. Jean misses inside. It's 2-0.
And because it's now tied, takes Braden Davis out of the win category. He becomes a no decision after his great effort.
Big Bender misses outside. Jean disagreed, but a 3-0 count now to Earhart. Top of the order on deck. Still some work to be done here from the Commodores to get back to the plate in a tie game. 3-0 is a called strike. Fires in the heater over the heart of the plate. Gets himself back in the count. Earhart stands in from that right side. A lot of righties in this order for Hyannis. Angles that bat over the shoulder. Breaking ball, called strike. Earhart had already flipped the bat and taken off the elbow guard, but he'll have to strap it back up and go get it. And the count's full 3-2.
A nice job here by Antoine to battle back a little bit. Keep it where it is. And try to keep this game tied with the Falmouth Bats looking to keep it here in the 7th. Going to take a big pitch here.
Couple looks back from Jean. The pitch. Skied out to shallow left center. Long run for everybody, and Spikerman will get to it. No fly zone in center with John Spikerman out there. He'll make the play to retire the side, and we head to the 7th. All tied at 2 here at McKeon Park on the Commodores Radio Network. John Spikerman made the play in center. Now steps in to face Ethan Bates. Squares to bunt, pulls back on the curveball in the dirt. And it's 1-0. Cam Smith playing in on the grass at third base. A little bit off the line against the switch hitter, batting from that left side. Bates works exclusively from the stretch and rocks himself set at the belt. 1-0. Leaks left. It's quickly 2-0.
Can't really stress enough how big of a catch that was in center field. Could have been 3 home in the inning for Hyannis, and I don't think anyone else on the Cape makes that catch in center field. You weren't kidding about his speed, Zach. That was one of a kind.
2-0, fastball inside, and it's 3-0, and Hyannis in danger of putting that speed on the base paths for free. A pitch, a fastball for a called strike. Quickly 3-0, but now it's 3-1 as he's able to get himself back into the count. Big lefty Michael Rodriguez warming in the pen for Hyannis. 3-1 from Bates, misses outside. Spikerman had to wait one extra pitch, but he works that walk anyways. 5-pitch walk to start the top of the 7th as Falmouth tries to get that run right back.
Now the Commodores do a nice job. They're good at bat by Spikerman. There's a mound visit now going to be had, but, John, now hopefully he's caught his breath since traveling, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 something odd feet to go down and track that ball in shallow center field. This mound visit will help him catch his breath, maybe a Gatorade bottle thrown out to him or something on first base. They're going to need his speed here. You could put the ball in motion with him on the bases.
Yeah, the last time he was walked back in the first, he stole on the first pitch without hesitation. The throw went into center. He got to third, but was left stranded there. Now he stands at first base again in a tie ball game, almost an identical situation. A couple of innings since Falmouth has really been able to get a great opportunity with less than 2 outs, trying to do that here.
And I think more often than not, a conversation like this with what looks to be the pitching coach for Hyannis is, okay, obviously we know who's on first base with the speed. Not only do you have to account for who's in the box and how you want to, deliver and work against Kyle DeBar's big bat in the second spot for the order, but now depending on what you throw, that could kind of have an idea of what Spikerman's going to do on the bases. So you don't want to be too slow with your pitches working against a big bat because you have speed on the bases.
They'll check back on Spikerman right away. He's back in with a dive. DeBarge digging in from the right side. It's a righty-righty matchup with Bates. Smith creeping over at third base. First pitch swinging. DeBarge pops it up on the infield. Called by Laurie at second. Backs up to make the catch. And one away.
Yeah, tough. Got the breaking ball in the upstairs part of the zone. If you're waiting on it, you can really do something with that ball kind of naturally just coming into your swing path. You're trying to elevate the ball there and just getting underneath it. One away.
Brings up Charlie Condon. Spikerman checked back on again, and he just barely got in. He kind of flopped there, diving back in, and just was able to get the hand around the tag. That was almost ugly.
Well, that's why you check on him. You think sometimes it gets, a little repetitive just doing that every so often, but there's a reason they're doing it, and they do it again.
Yeah, they go right back to it. This time much cleaner on the dive back in from Spikerman. Charlie Condon 1 for 3, but singled in his lone at bat against Bates. Took a pitch right back up the middle for his base hit. Now takes a fastball up above the letters, and it's 1-0.
And, you can't throw exclusively fastballs to Condon, trying to get pitches across quickly to keep an eye on Spikerman. So you got to be careful with what you're doing here if you're Bates, especially if this appears to be the end of his leash on the mound.
Outfield deep across the diamond. Another check-in on Spikerman. This time he's back in standing up. 1-0 count here to Charlie Condon as Bates rocks himself set. Long look, he will deliver. It's a slide step, and it pops out of the glove of Kelly. Spikerman instantly headed down, and he'll cruise into second.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to rule that one a pass ball there. No reason for that ball to pop out of the glove. And, seeing Kelly here in the opposing uniform, we mentioned that he was one of the better defensive catchers for the beginning part of the season, but he's had some balls get away from him today.
2-0 count to Condon. Breaking ball, shot foul down the third base side. Brings the count to 2-1. Righty-righty matchup as the lefty in the on-deck circle. It's Jace Lavalette, designated hitter. Trying to get things going, but Condon trying to bring in Spikerman first. Good pitch. Front door breaking ball for a called strike. Evens up the count, 2-2. Long look in from Bates. Spikerman creeping off the bag at second. We've talked well enough about his speed. A base hit should score him, but it won't happen here. The breaking ball cut on and missed by Condon. And he says he tipped it, but the field umpire says that Austin Kelly was able to keep it from hitting the dirt, which is a little bit interesting because Kelly immediately put the tag on like he picked it. But the call is supposedly confirmed on the field, and that'll do it for Ethan Bates. New arm to the mound when we come back for Hyannis. We'll step aside, be right back with it on the other side of the break, right here on the Commodores Radio Network. Michael Rodriguez takes the mound for Hyannis after a bit of a controversial finish there to that last at-bat to Condon. They say that Kelly hung on to it on the foul tip into the glove, so after some discussion, Condon heads to the dugout. Now Jace Lavalette will face Michael Rodriguez.
Yeah, junior out of North Greenville University, 24 appearances, a 2.45 ERA. Here's the biggest number. Struck out 67 against 8 walks. Okay, he doesn't let guys on for free. There's 2 outs. It's a big spot here for Lavalette. There is an open base working left on left, so we'll see how careful Rodriguez is here to the big, powerful lefty out of Texas A&M.
Spikerman creeping off the bag at second. Big leg kick from the lefty Rodriguez, and the first pitch misses for ball 1. Lavalette, 1 for 2 so far, walked back in the 4th and scored on the 2-run homer, from Highfill. And a balk allows that runner to move up, and now anything that gets by Austin Kelly should bring in the go-ahead run here in the top of the 7th for Falmouth.
And I mean, you have to say it just because it's fact, but I mean, there have been several instances where the ball has gotten away from Kelly. That is certainly in play here.
Rodriguez comes set at the chest. Fastball outside, and Kelly able to snare it, but it's quickly 2-0 to Lavalette. Ross Highfill stands on deck. Already has the 2-run homer. Has come through in a lot of big spots on the young season for Falmouth so far. Rodriguez with a deep breath on the rubber, the 2-0. Bends low and outside on the slider, and it's 3-0 to Lavalette. The last 3 ABs for him today. 2 of them have gone 3-0, and this now the 3rd. Rodriguez brings himself set, working the middle of the rubber from the stretch. The 3-0 is a slider for a called strike. Gets himself back into it. It's 3-1. Spikerman down at 3rd. He led off the inning with a walk, moved up on a wild pitch, and then over to 3rd on the balk. Lavalette, open stance from the left side. Takes the slider outside, and you mentioned the few walks for Rodriguez in the spring for North Greenville. He starts this outing with a walk to Jace Lavalette, and runners on the corners with 2 away for Ross Highfill.
Yeah, besides the announcer jinx, he kind of had it coming. I mean, first pitch against a big, powerful bat, left on left. You're not going to give him a fastball. You're going to give him something away to at least just see it. Then he's behind on a fastball out. You're suddenly behind. You don't want to give him anything to hit. He kind of had it coming the way he was working that at bat.
Fastball. Highfill checks his swing, lays off. much to the dismay of the crowd here in Hyannis.
Well, yeah, he did the thing where he kind of just one hand lets go of his top hand and kind of lets the bat kind of roll off his shoulders. That was not a swing. It's the right call.
Two-step lead for Lavalette at first, leaning back as Rodriguez delivers a fastball for a called strike. That heater in the low to mid-90s from that tall frame, working from the left side. Highfill, relaxed stance in the right-handed batter's box. Back foot slider almost took a new meaning there as Highfill able to dance out of the way of it. Gets ahead in the count now 2-1.
Gave a funny look back to Austin Kelly there as that one crept a little too far inside, down by the knee area of Highfill.
Highfill holds the hands tight to the chest. He awaits the pitch. Fastball popped up, foul out of play. Spoils that one. And it's 2-2 with 2 away. It's number 22 in a 2-2 ball game with 2 on.
Yeah, nice job here by Rodriguez to battle back.
You got 2s everywhere here at McKeon Park. Left leg kick. Runner goes. The 2-2 tipped into the glove. Highfill goes down swinging. The Commodores strand a pair. We're still even at the stretch here in Hyannis. 2 apiece. Commodores and Harbor Hawks on the Commodores Radio Network. Brad Keylori leading off here in the bottom of the 7th. We're all stretched and ready to go. Hope you did so too, because the rest of this game is going to have you on the edge of your seat at home as Brad Keylori digs in 0 for 2, pair of punch outs and a walk. He'll face Antoine Jean, who delivers first pitch breaking ball low, and it's 1-0. Hyannis got both runs against Jean in the bottom of the 6th. Now Jean back out. Laurie slices one foul, first base side. Evens up the count 1-1. Pair of righties and a lefty at the top of the order for Hyannis against the southpaw on the rubber in Jean. He's working from the windup. Didn't get a chance to do that much in the last inning. Fires a fastball high. It was a first pitch double by Alex Lane that started things off.
Yeah, I mean, he had an instant threat on the first pitch that John threw. Nice welcome into the ball game.
2-1 breaking ball sent right back to the screen. Evens up the count 2-2. Got the planes and the helicopters here flying overhead, or right near the Hyannis Airport, just beyond the outfield here at McKeon Park. 2-2, slow chopper, left side, takes the Commodore's hop and bounces foul, because that was inches away from being an infield single to start off the inning for Brad Keylori.
Yeah, way out in front of it, and when it's kind of tight roping down that third base line. When you're in front of it, you're putting right to left, hooking movement on the baseball. So the Commodore hop was certainly going to happen.
Luke Garofalo warming in the pen for Falmouth. A 2-2 count awaits Bracculori. Jean delivers just outside. Count runs full now, 3-2. Shelton playing well off the line at third base. Lowry digs back in, bends the knees from the right side. The 3-2, spoiled foul. And Lowry will see another. Lowry spent this past spring at Wabash Valley Community College, transferring to the SEC in Tennessee, a team that stayed alive with a win today over Stanford in Omaha. Breaking ball fouled back again as Lowry continuing to battle with Jean. Pitch number 9 upcoming.
Yeah, you'd really like to see Jean win this battle to just get him comfortable getting that first out. Can't feel too good about giving up the 2 runs in the previous inning. He kept it there, though, as we remain tied, but you'd like to see him be ahead with that first out.
The payoff from Jean. Fastball, strike 3 called. Freezes Lowry with the heater and picks up a punch out to start the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, I got him looking on the fastball away. Probably could have gone either way. I think the right call was made there on the strikeout. Biased aside, that was right on the black. 3 strikeouts on the day for Lowry there at the top of the order. He did reach on a walk back in the 3rd, but overall, you've really kept good tabs on the leadoff man for the Harbor Hawks today.
Now we'll have to face Billy Amick. First pitch leaks outside. It's 1-0. Amick 0 for 2 with a walk in his 3 plate appearances to this point tonight. Holds that bat at a downward angle over the shoulder as he awaits the pitch. Brings it up as Jean delivers a called strike with the slider. 1-1 count. Amick bends backwards while he waits as well from the right side. Jean holds the leg in the air and then delivers the heater, messing with the timing of Amick there, and it's quickly 1-2.
Really big swing and a miss there from Billy Amick. At the top of the team in terms of average, one of the very best around the Cape.
1-2 low, lays off that changeup and evens up the count.
I mean, when you can make a guy swing like that, you know your stuff's working, and trying to battle back after being down early in the count in the previous hitter, and now a big chance at another strikeout.
The 2-2 from Jean. Breaking ball, snaps it in at the knees for a called strike 3. A pair of backwards Ks to start the bottom of the 7th. And Gavin Cash trying to change things for Hyannis, but Antoine Jean is rolling.
Well, that one you could argue in favor of Billy Amick a little bit. The breaking ball there, trying to get the outside corner, and that's what it got. And he had a long stare down and slow walk back to the dugout. Could have been a pitcher's call there maybe, but nonetheless, a good start to this inning from Antoine. Really needed it, too, after that 6th inning.
And it's a pinch hitter. They want the righty on lefty matchup. It is Teddy Schoenfeld out of MIT who steps in from the right side, takes the first pitch high. Jean in the wind. Tried to bend that one in, and it stayed up. It's quickly 2-0. Schoenfeld has that really interesting stance, really bent and wide from the right side. Angles that bat over the shoulders. Jean delivers, and a spinner back down the first base side towards Commodores bullpen, and bullpen catcher Willie Baker making the play on it out there as he's trying to help Luke Garofalo get warmed up. So a 2-1 count to Schoenfeld. Jean delivers outside, and it's quickly 3-1. And Alex Lane's on deck, who already saw Antoine Jean extremely well in his first at-bat, doubling off the wall. The lights are on here at McKeon Park. The 3-1, a fastball at the knees for a called strike. Count runs full to Schoenfeld. Infield deep across the diamond. Outfield playing pretty much straight up. Spikerman a few steps to the right of second base. Jean goes into the motion, the payoff pitch. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. 3 batters, 3 strikeouts looking for Antoine Jean in the bottom of the 7th. We head to the 8th, knotted up at 2 in Hyannis. You are listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball. Top of the 8th here in Hyannis. It's tied at 2. We've got at least one other tie around the Cape, but Destiny Sanchez has all the details for you. Destiny, take it away.
Thanks, Zach. The Wareham Gatemen and the Brewster Whitecaps ended with a tie in 10 innings. The Harwich Mariners lead the Cotuit Kettleers 9-4 in the bottom of the 9th. The YD Red Sox lead the Orleans Firebirds 2-1 in the top of the 7th. And the Bourne Braves lead the Chatham Anglers 8-1 at the top of the 4th.
Thank you, Destiny. Got a lot of good games around, and Bourne finally getting going. You knew the Braves were going to at some point, finding their way and putting it on the Anglers at Veteran Field. But some fun games as well. I have a quick correction to make on that pinch hitter. It was Mike Sirota out of Northeastern, who's making his first appearance, was not listed as number 17. That was Schoenfeld, and now it is Sirota taking over for him.
I've seen that a couple times with the rosters and the corrections and people moving in and out, and Sirota doesn't even have a jersey number listed on their roster website. So no blame to you, partner. That is just a tough situation.
First pitch from Rodriguez to Shelton missed, and then goes to a fastball that catches the edge and evens up the count. It's 1-1. Sirota stays in the game in left, replacing Cash. It's Shelton, Humphreys, and Martin to face Rodriguez in his first full inning of work. He got out of the jam for the Harbor Hawks in the last inning by striking out Ross Highfill. Spikes a heater, bounces off of the pads from Kelly and down that first base side. A 2-1 count to Colby Shelton. 0 for 3. A pop out, strikeout, and a ground out. Commodores third baseman trying to get things going in his Falmouth debut. Couple of steps shift for Hyannis towards the right side with a lefty at the plate. Slider catches the outside corner for a called strike, evens things at 2-2.
You'd like to see the offense kind of wake up a little bit here after that 2-run shot. Literally nothing else. 5 hits, but these ties are fine, but you need to find a way to win some ball games.
2-2 hit on the ground right side. Fielded on a hop at second, flipped to first from Laurie in time. And Colby Shelton is retired by way of the 4-3 ground out. And you mentioned that Falmouth has stranded at least one runner in every inning so far. Got 9 stranded runners through 7 innings.
Very unlike the offense that we've seen throughout this point of the year, and Falmouth being the one stranding the majority of the runners up to this point. But again, ties are going to come back to get you when we're looking in early August.
Humphrey squares to bunt, pulls back on the sweeper outside. It's 1-0. That'll bring Cam Smith a few steps closer to the grass on the third base side, still playing well off the bag. Rodriguez rocks himself set. Lefty-lefty matchup. Deep breath on the rubber. Humphrey squares again, pulls back, and takes a called strike. Fastball on the outer third. And it's 1-1.
Really want to see Humphreys get going. We know what he's capable out of DBU. Still hitless to this point in his Commodores career.
The 1-1. Slow chopper to third. Smith comes in on it. Strong throw to get Humphreys, and 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the 8th.
Yeah, it took such a high hop that it took a second for Smith to corral it, and then he's capable over there at the hot corner, fires in a a laser in there to first base, despite the hustle from Humphreys. And, again, you're trying to find a way here in the later innings. It'll come down to Martin here.
Christian Martin working out a 1-for-3 day to this point. Looking for his first hit against left-handed pitching this summer. 0 for 8 thus far. Takes the first pitch strike. Like a two-seamer on the inside edge. Count to 0-1. Tap Tracy on deck if Martin's able to reach, and the top of the order will follow him. Slider outside. It's a 1-1 count to Martin. Virginia Tech Hokie been a mainstay in this lineup for the majority of this early part of the season for Falmouth. Manning second base once again tonight. 1-1, and they'll say no pitch as the speaker goes off here during that motion.
Haven't seen that before.
And they're going to say a 1-1 count, so no pitch there to Martin. That was a sequence, that's for sure.
We'll remember that every time we come here to Hyannis.
Martin trying to get back into it after the distraction. Fastball just misses. Kelly held that one for a minute, hoping for that call on the edge, but didn't get it. It's 2-1.
Could be a blessing in disguise. Now you're ahead in the count. Could maybe get a pitch to drive here.
Christian Martin, they call him Chick. Everybody gives him that nickname. He said he's kind of always just at it. Breaking ball misses. It's 3-1. We'll see if Chick can come through here. The bottom of this order, try and flip the lineup card and maybe get that go-ahead run across here with a 2-out rally in the 8th. Hands tight to the chest here from the left side for Martin. And he takes a fastball from Rodriguez. And it's 3-2. Deep breath on the rubber. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Martin comes up empty. And a 1-2-3, top of the 8th, worked by Rodriguez. We head to the bottom half. Tied up at 2 between Falmouth and Hyannis on the Commodores Radio Network. Bottom of the 8th inning, still all square between Falmouth and Hyannis. 2 apiece as Luke Garofalo takes over on the mound. Antoine Jean with a pretty solid outing. 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, no walks and 4 strikeouts. 13 strikeouts to this point for Falmouth on the mound in this game, and that has been the key to their success on the rubber all season long, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're going to see Garofalo go here. Saw him back in the Bourne tie. He went 3 2/3 innings, 4 hits given up, gave up a run. It wasn't earned. Struck out 5 in the effort against the Braves. It ultimately ended in a tie. Well, now you're trying to kind of keep it where it is here in the bottom of the 8th. Still 2-2. I mean, hey, the Highfill home run and a 2-run inning in the 6th from Hyannis, and that's been it. I mean, it really has been dominated by the arms tonight.
First pitch from Garofalo, snaps off a breaking ball for a called strike to Alex Lane. Lane doubled and scored to start that rally in the 6th. Now gets Garofalo Fires a fastball at the knees, just a touch out of the zone, evens up the count. Garofalo works very quickly. He was Houdini in that game against Bourne, finding his way in and out of jams all evening long. It's a big swing and a miss on the breaking ball. As I mentioned, this guy works very quickly on the rubber, all ready to go as soon as Lane steps in the box. The 1-2 goes right back to the breaking ball. It's roped into left field, a base hit. And a leadoff single for Alex Lane. Another multi-hit game for the Northeastern Husky. And a man aboard, the go-ahead run for Hyannis here in the bottom of the 8th.
They're going to bring in a pinch runner as well to take Lane's lack thereof of speed. Now you're going to get some more wheels out there, it looks like. And now you got to worry about something if you're Garofalo up there.
And you get some good speed on the base pass now in Trey Lipsy. It's Will Taylor at the plate. He also has good speed. Both these guys going to be really tough to double up. Shelton in on the corner at third. Condon holding on Lipsy. Taylor squares, gets it down foul, first base side, and it's 0-1. That was more of a sacrifice situation than a hit and run attempt there from Taylor. But he did try to push it up that first base line, try and create any chance of getting that out at second away by pushing it towards Condon. Leg kick. Another square. It is down the line. Condon will field it. He can't field it cleanly, and everybody's going to be safe. It popped out of the glove of Charlie Condon, and 2 aboard with nobody out in the bottom of the 8th.
Not at all what you drew up. There was a push bunt. It actually got to Condon relatively quickly, and he kind of took his time to retrieve the baseball, Zach. I actually thought he had a chance with the speed in Lipsy on first base to at least maybe just look at second before going to the bag himself. I just think a little too casual on that one, and that's tough.
You saw the sack situation there. It didn't work out, but now here's another big one, you would think, but instead Smith pops it up on the infield on the first pitch, and it's an infield fly rule. A massive first out of the inning from Garofalo in a spot that looked like a textbook sacrifice situation. Instead, it's an unproductive out from Cam Smith.
And they're going to give, now we go back a previous at bat, Will Taylor's going to get a hit for that. And no error on that. It was in and out of the glove. It's not like it hopped over his glove. Interesting ruling on that one, I would say.
Fastball starts Eric Snow for a called strike. It's 0-1. Snow 1 for 3, singled in the 4th, got all the way to 3rd, but was left stranded there. Runner goes, swinging is Snow, and he'll foul it out of play. That was a really good jump from Lipsy at second base. He had that bag stolen, but he'll have to trot back to second as it's now 0-2.
Yeah, obviously a textbook hit and run situation there. Now, if they do decide to steal with Lipsy on second, we haven't seen Highfill have too much success in that category, but you got a closer throw here on the corner at third. Obviously a big spot in the game.
0-2, swing and a miss. Elevates the heater, and Garofalo dispatches of Eric Snow on 3 pitches. Now there's 2 away for Austin Kelly.
Yeah, kind of a poor at-bat there, I must say, there from Eric Snow. You go up the ladder on a fastball up. I know it's supposed to disguise itself and look like it's it's at the top of the zone. But on 3 pitches to go down that easily with 2 on, 1 out. But hey, big bat, as you mentioned. Kelly did tie the ball game up last time he was in here.
Takes the pitch inside for ball 1 on the fastball. Austin Kelly was the catcher for that outing with Garofalo in his first appearance. Very familiar with him. Garofalo rocks himself set. Right leg kick. Fastball for a called strike. Evens things at 1-1. It's Lipsy at second and Will Taylor at first. 2-2 ball game in the bottom of the 8th between the Commodores and the Harbor Hawks. Garofalo gets the sign from Highfill, delivers, hit on the ground right side. Martin fields, flips to first, and Garofalo once again finds his way out of a jam. And we are tied, headed to the 9th at McKeon Park. It's 2 apiece between Falmouth and Hyannis. You are listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball. 9-1-2 to lead things off in the top of the ninth of a 2-2 ball game. The two-run blast from Ross Highfield got Falmouth on the board in the fourth. A two-run bottom of the sixth for Hyannis evened things, and that's where we stand in another pitcher's duel. Tab Tracy leads it off. 0 for 3 so far. Been on base in every time he's suited up for the Commodores and takes a first pitch high as he spins out of the way. Squared to start against Rodriguez, but kept it away. If Rodriguez remains in the game here, we'll get to see Spikerman hit from the right side for the first time. Switch hitter on deck. The bunt attempt tipped into the glove there, evens up the count at 1-1. The switch at first base after the pinch runner for Lane is Mitch Ferris, a two-way guy out of Wingate University.
I believe our man Michael Sirota, wearing 17, is out in left as well.
Yes, he remained in left in the last inning. 1-1, misses high and outside. Brings the count now to 2-1. Shifted a couple of steps towards the right side with the left-handed hitter in Tracy up. Cam Smith playing off the line, but is in on the edge of the grass, protecting against that bunt that we saw Tracy square earlier in the AB. The 2-1, he squares again, can't keep it fair. It's spinning back towards the line, and Austin Kelly with a nice job to snag that one before it could get all the way back into fair territory. And now the count is even 2-2.
Well, now you got to swing. You've seen it a couple times there, trying to lay down the bunt. Tab's capable of a good swing. Better than a 400 average coming into this contest, right there near the tippy top for the Commodores at this point in the year.
2-2 count to Tracy. The delivery from Rodriguez. Strike three called. Got him looking on the fastball. Tracy disagrees, but he'll have to disagree from in the dugout as one away. Bringing up John Spikerman.
Well, you were telling me off air that if Tab can find a way to get on speed on the bases, speed in the box, you could see a bunt situation. In theory, I guess you can't rule it out to do it right here with one out. But that would certainly be a drag bunt. You try to just turn on the wheels basically before you even leave the box. Just start going right away.
Runs inside, and Spikerman just able to dance out of the way as it gets straight to the backstop. It's ball one on that breaking ball. You've heard of the back foot slider. You almost saw a front foot slider there off of Spikerman, but he gets out of the way and stays clean. Holds the hands high in that right-handed batter's box. First time we've seen him hit from the right side. Takes a called strike. 1-1 count. This evening has turned to night here at McKeon Park under the lights. 2-2 ball game, top of the ninth. The 1-1 to Spikerman. Runs in again, brushes him back, and it's 2-1.
Working him inside here. Spikerman with his speed. He's able to extend the barrel there and try to put something the other way. Just exclusively working inside.
They're playing Spikerman to pull. He has more power from the right side. He flew out to deep right center from the left side earlier. Takes a firm fastball inside, and he's ahead in the count now, 3-1.
Yeah, well said, partner. Everything's been exclusively inside here to Spikerman. Can't really see a scenario where they would try mixing it up here. They certainly know what they want to do with him.
The 3-1. A called strike as it buckles in to the inside edge. And a full count now to John Spikerman. He widens his stance with 2 strikes and digs in. Circles the bat over the right shoulder as he awaits the delivery. The payoff. Hit on the ground, first base side, fielded in fair territory by Ferris, and he'll touch the bag for out number 2.
Yeah, honestly, Ferris' first opportunity to field a ground ball didn't field it all that cleanly. The ball actually almost popped out of his glove as he was receiving it ready for the transfer. Had to get his left hand, the non-glove hand, back on top of the baseball and ran it over with 2 hands to tap on the bag. And with all that speed in Spikerman, you know you got to be quick over there first base.
Kyle DeBarge steps in. Speedy shortstop. Works the backside of the right-handed batter's box and takes the called strike. Fastball on the outer third to start the AB. The heavy hitters coming up following him, Condon, Lavalette, and Highfill. But don't be fooled, DeBarge has a lot of pop in his bat as well. Already has the double on this game. 0-1, catches the inside edge, and it's quickly 0-2 to Kyle DeBarge, who's shaking his head up there.
I was going to say a couple shake of the heads on some inside pitches here to the right-handed bats of Falmouth in this inning.
The 0-2. It's down on a changeup. DeBarge lays off it. It's a 1-2 count. The crowd here at McKeon Park trying to get into things late in this ball game as the Harbor Hawks looking to pull a come-from-behind win on the Commodores. The 1-2. Wing and a miss. Breaking ball punches out to DeBarge. Pair of strikeouts on the inning for Rodriguez, and we head to the bottom of the ninth. Falmouth trying to push it to a 10th when we come back. Luke Garofalo back to the mound to face 9-1-2 in the Hyannis order. Same part of the order that Falmouth had up in the top of the ninth. Garofalo trying to match the outing from Michael Rodriguez here in the bottom half, facing Zach Earhart, Brad Kilori, and Billy Amick. Dangerous part of the order in a tie ball game in the bottom of the ninth, trying to push it to extras for the second straight day. Garofalo from the windup, as Earhart squared but pulled back. Count now 1-0. Earhart 0 for 3 on the ball game. 0 for an 11 stretch to start the summer for Zach Earhart. Hits one on the ground to short. DeBarge with a long throw in time to get him by a step, and that stretch moves to 0 for 12 for Earhart, and one away.
Just a routine ground ball to the shortstop. Good to see DeBarge, who through his first couple of games was at short yesterday. And his previous played at third. It's good to see him just receive a good ground ball there, make a routine play. Had one kind of eat him up a little bit that was ruled a base hit. Good way to start the inning for Garofalo.
Now Laurie takes the called strike. First pitch is a front door slider to start him off. 0-1 count to Laurie. 0 for 3 with a walk. Goes right back to it, and it's tipped right off of Ross Highfill, and he will take a second. Shake the hands out there. Looks to be good to go, though, an 0-2 count.
Another gentleman's gesture there by the home plate umpire, walking around the home plate area a little bit. Give Ross a second to let that sting go away.
The 0-2 from Garofalo. Elevated fastball, appealed down on the check swing, no go. And it's a 1-2 count. Big righty Ethan Lanthier warming in the bullpen for Hyannis. Garofalo, high leg kick, 1-2, wave and a miss.
Just blew it right by him. I mean, goes with the fastball up. Laurie doesn't stand all that tall, and smaller strike zone, but got him to chase up the ladder a little bit.
Power on power. These are the matchups you come to the Cape League to see. It's Luke Garofalo, one of the best closers in the country this season, against Billy Amick, one of the best hitters in the nation. Takes a pitch low, and it's 1-0. Already a pair of homers on the summer for Amick. He's looking for his first hit today. 0 for 3 with a walk. 1-0. Just misses, and it's quickly 2-0. Garofalo, as we mentioned earlier, goes extremely quick on the mound. Trying to get into his rhythm and stay there. The 2-0. Slider, and Amick swings right through it.
That's why Garofalo is one of the best in the country. When you're behind in the count, the confidence to trust your stuff like that and to throw it in a count where you're screaming fastball.
Goes right back to it. On 2-1, it's tipped into the glove. And we're even in this count. It's 2-2 to Billy Amick.
Now you've wondered, do you go back to it? 3 in a row would be a lot against one of the best hitters in the country.
The break even from Garofalo. Goes to it again, and just getting a piece of it is Billy Amick to stay alive. One brushed off of Highfill as well. He'll take a second, and a 2-2 count with 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 9th of a tie ball game, trying to send it to extras. Garofalo gets the sign from Highfill. The break even. Line drive down the left field line. Fair ball. That's going to get all the way to the wall. It's cut off out in left by Tracy. Strong throw into second, not in time. And a 2-out, 2-strike stand-up double for Billy Amick. And the game-winning run in scoring position for Hyannis in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, you can't keep a guy from Clemson who just tore the cover off the baseball this year, 413 average. You can't keep him bottled up the entire game, right? I mean, you're expecting Amick to eventually come through, and his 5th at bat gets an extra base knock down the line. You're expecting Garofalo 1 strike or to put it somewhere and get this thing on to extras. Now a little bit more work. It'll be Michael Sirota, the late entry into this ball game, with a chance to be the hero.
Sirota pinch hit for Gavin Cash earlier in the ball game, and now with a big swing at a fastball that he blew well by him. And it's quickly 0-1. Sirota in his debut here for this squad was with Hyannis last summer and hit .339 for the Harbor Hawks. The 0-1. Misses low, went to the changeup, and it's even at 1-1. For Northeastern this year, .346 hitter. A lot of pop with 18 homers, 54 runs batted in. He's looking for RBI number 1 here and looking to be the hero on night 1 of his summer ball season with Hyannis. 1-1, shot down the line, fair ball, and that'll do it. Amick around third, he'll score. Mike Sirota walks off Falmouth in the bottom of the 9th at McKeon Park.
Not really much else to say. I mean, look for a pitch. You got the fastball in on the hands. I mean, no shot over there for Shelton. Playing a little bit off the bag. You got to be weary. It's 2 outs. You only need 1 more run to come across, and just pulls one down the line. Back-to-back ropes down there. Would have been good for a double if that was not the game-winning run. And that's tough if you're Falmouth, because we just said it off air. You're a team that has only hit now 3 home runs on the Cape season, right at the bottom amongst all teams here on the Cape. You can't rely on the home run ball if you're a team that doesn't hit the home run ball all that often, and that's what the Doors were trying to do today. Only Ross Highfield's 2-run shot to go for it on the big board, and that's tough because Hyannis came back with a really good 6th inning, Zach. And again, 2 outs, looking really good to start this 9th inning. And an extra base hit from Billy Amick. It's tough because this was a game you most certainly needed to and probably should have had.
Falmouth strands 9, brings across 2 on the homer, and that's it. A 3-2 win for Hyannis. And that does it. Here from McKeon Park, it was a very crazy finish here, but Commodores were 1 strike away from getting out of this game in the 9th and getting it to a 10th inning, but Garofalo couldn't escape the jam one last time. That'll do it for us here from McKeon Park. For my broadcast partners, Venezia and Destiny Sanchez and Laura Schroeder on the graphics, I'm Zach Surdenik. We're glad you joined us here from Hyannis tonight. Back at it at home tomorrow against Orleans. You can catch that right here on the Commodores YouTube channel. That'll do it for us here tonight. Hoping you have a blessed rest of your Monday night.